8 in a row.
8 in a row?
I thought it was 9.
I thought it was 9.
Because he cheated.
He did 4 with Miami.
4 with Cavs. They didn't go the first time in LA.
He put the code in. It was up, down, left, right.
Did he go to the finals before he went to the Heat?
Yeah,
Yeah.
when he got swept by
the
Spurs.
When he was like his 3rd year.
When he got swept by the Spurs.
That's kind of crazy, bro.
He played in 10 championships in 20
When he
years.
got swept.
That is incredible, bro.
When he got swept by the Spurs.
All right, we're doing it over? Intro? Okay.
Swept by the Spurs.
We good? Everybody good?
Mm-hmm.
Go, G.
I believe so.
1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2.
Yep.
All right.
Get it on the floor.
My apologies.
Good. It's Mercury retrograde.
Again?
It really is. It's Mercury retrograde.
Mercury Gatorade.
Mercury be retro.
That's what I thought he said. Mercury Gatorade.
Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2. It's the Taste to Consider podcast. We are back for another episode. Let's go.
As your husband or your man, why would I ask for sex or ask to be cooked food or ask for affection or ask anything when the dog ain't asked for a motherfucking thing? But the dog get groomed, the dog get fed, the dog get affection. Now unless the dog talking when I leave this motherfucker, dog ain't asked you for shit. So why would me as your husband or your man have to ask for anything that I need? I'm not asking for shit. If you know what that dog needs and that dog ain't asked you for a motherfucking thing, but you don't know what I need, and I have to ask, I'll take care of it myself. And don't get mad when I take care of it my goddamn self.
Shit, it's a Taste to Consider podcast. Let's go. Taste to Consider podcast. Yes, indeed. We're back for another episode. Shout out to all the Spotify listeners, Amazon listeners, Apple Music listeners, Stitcher, YouTubers. Shout out to everybody who checked out the first episode of Taste Reviews, the Drink Edition. But I'm not here by myself this episode, the 100th episode. Yes, indeed. I got some guests, some familiars, if you don't know.
Unfamiliars.
The U&U Network, starting from the left. Let them introduce themselves.
It's your boy Waves. You can catch me on Instagram, Waves_DC. That's with a Z and not a S.
Scott, host of the Unprocessed Knowledge podcast. Everybody should be following me on Instagram at unprocessed_knowledge.
There's your boy, son. The mother lover's back. Shout out to your mother. You can find me on IG and Antonio, she love her.
It's your boy, King Johnny, OH_KING_Johnny. Here, one half of Separated 2 podcast. Shout out to my co-host, G-Deck.
And last but not least, your main man, Littles. I thought I'd never do this again, but Rip somehow convinced me. You can catch me on all socials, and I mean every social, at Littles1126. That's my birthday. Where's size 13? Thank you.
Shout out to the fellas for coming through. I definitely appreciate that.
Anytime.
But let me officially introduce the show.
How many intros you got, bro?
Lord.
It's a Taste to Consider podcast. I'm your host, Derek Silver, and we're back for another episode. Yes, indeed, and I'm going to get right into it because I know the fellas got things to do, but yes.
No, we good.
Yeah, we definitely are.
We're going to get right into this episode, though. Thoughts on that first clip that I played before the intro music?
Can you play it again?
Got you.
As your husband or your man, why would I ask for sex or ask to be cooked food or ask for affection or ask anything when the dog ain't asked for a motherfucking thing? But the dog get groomed, the dog get fed, the dog get affection. Now unless the dog talking when I leave this motherfucker, dog ain't asked you for shit. So why would me as your husband or your man have to ask for anything that I need? I'm not asking for shit. If you know what that dog needs and that dog ain't asked you for a motherfucking thing, but you don't know what I need, and I have to ask, I'll take care of it myself. And don't get mad when I take care of it my goddamn self. Shit.
Yo.
Nah, but for real, that clip though, like I saw a video on Instagram like a couple of days ago where this chick, she was making lamb chops for her dog.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
Yeah, you saw.
Was she single?
I don't
No,
know.
it didn't say.
I don't know.
she was going gourmet in that kitchen.
Yeah.
Found out it was for the dog.
She was making lamb chops for her dog.
Wow.
Damn, that's y'all tough.
She loves that dog.
I've noticed that some women don't understand how men can have friendships without knowing basic knowledge about each other. So I'm explaining to you how. For example, me and my homeboy, we were all chilling at my friend's house, right? We were having a big get together. And one of my friends said something about his birthday. So I asked, hold up, when is your birthday? And he goes, it's tomorrow. I told him happy birthday and he said thank you. Then his girlfriend looks at me and she goes, wait, hold up. How are you his best friend and you don't know when his birthday is? Y'all have known each other for so long. How do you not know when his birthday is? Because I'm not you. What? I'm not his girlfriend. I don't need to know his birthday. You got to remember his birthday because you got to remember the day, get him a gift, and put some thought into it. Me and him been passing the same $20 back and forth. It's low maintenance, and that's why it works. Men aren't friends with each other based off of knowing every single little thing about each other and every little secret. We're friends because for the past 8 years, we have both seen every dumb, embarrassing, and dangerous thing we've each done. And every time afterwards, when we were at our lowest, we looked at each other and was like, same time next week, and we hung out again. That's how we did it. Now I get it. 2 women are friends and one of them forget the other birthday. Good Lord, watch out. They may never reconcile over some date that the other one wasn't even there for. But as long as me and him still like football, we gonna be all right.
Oh, that's facts.
Yeah, because when
That
I
is
first
fact.
saw that clip, I was like, that's son right there.
Yeah, that's facts. Yeah. Known these niggas for like at least a good, 15 probably? 15, 20? I don't know everybody's birthday. Like, I don't know that. I don't know everybody's birthday.
That's
and the
a
only
fact.
reason y'all probably know what my birthday is because I do a cookout around that time.
I don't even know my own parents' birthday.
Hey,
I tell my sister to remind me every time.
Hey, yo.
their birthday comes.
This the reason why Facebook stay active.
Yeah,
Nah,
exactly. exactly.
nah, for real.
I go there for one reason and one reason
Nah,
only.
word.
I know somebody's birthday this week. Hold on, let me check.
Whole time I just found out my grandmother's birthday is 2 days after mine. I never
Oh,
knew that.
hey,
The only reason I know Scott's birthday because it's the same day as my dad's birthday.
That's
Wow.
crazy.
yeah, I think I just found out Scott's birthday was 2 days after mine, like a couple years ago.
Yeah.
I was talking to my grandma. I was like, "When is your birthday?" She was like, "Well, you know, it's 2 days after yours, right?" She was like, "We just never make a big deal out of it because we be celebrating your birthday." I was like, "Wow,
Yo,
like I never knew."
I know like a handful of birthdays, and it's all scattered out. I know friends. I don't know some family. I know this person, but I don't know that person. It's all crazy. I don't need to remember. As long as you know I love you, it's all good.
yeah,
Right.
I'll always know your birthday because you got it in every title.
You're
So-
damn right.
They are literally celebrating my father's birthday right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Pop.
Yeah, happy birthday to
Happy
him.
birthday. Dad.
But
Happy birthday.
going back to the clip you played, Rip. I think it's just two men and women have different energies.
Yep.
Yeah.
The masculine energy and the female energy is just different. So we don't celebrate or raise each other up in the same way. And we understand that, and it's okay amongst us. But as he said in the clip, like if your good girlfriend forgets your birthday, y'all probably will never reconcile.
Right. It's a beef.
She
It's a
definitely
beef
gonna get you
after
back
that.
for your birthday.
Yeah.
I think just the simplicity of men sometimes.
Yeah.
And I don't like to use the word all because nothing fits everybody, but most men, we're pretty simple. Like it's we don't feel the need to waste energy on things that don't make or break anything in our life. You know what I mean? And I'll be honest with you, half the time, if people didn't say happy birthday to me, I would forget my own damn birthday. I mean, that's true. I'm dead ass. Like I'm still shocked at how people go so crazy about their birthday. Like they be like, "Oh, I'm celebrating all month."
All month.
And I'm like,
I hate that
what?
all month shit. Like what?
And people asking like, "Oh, it's your birthday. What you want to do?" I want y'all to leave me alone. Like,
That's definitely me.
let me sit and be quiet in my own space. Like, I'm one of them guys. Like, it's not that big of a deal to me.
So y'all don't care about the celebration and nothing. Y'all don't care about getting together and nothing like that.
I ain't gonna say.
I'm a-
I mean,
No.
if it's cool,
Go ahead, son.
If
Nah,
it
go ahead.
happens, it's all good, but
Okay,
it's
yeah,
not
yeah.
something that has to. Like, I'm not gonna be mad because nobody
Right.
threw me something for my birthday.
Right.
True.
That's how. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's why I do it myself. So I ain't got to worry about that.
I'm the complete opposite. Well, not now, But when I was growing up, I never had birthday parties
I'm with you.
because I was literally born on Thanksgiving, and I ruined Thanksgiving for everybody.
I thought you was
Like my
Jehovah's
mom's water broke during Thanksgiving dinner, and
That's
she had her
crazy.
dinner at the hospital.
Wow.
So I grew up having my birthday on or around Thanksgiving, so I never had parties.
I
My
always thought that about you. I was like, dang, that gotta be tough to have your birthday around a holiday.
Yeah, because what my family would do is I share my birthday with 2 other cousins as well. We're all 11/26.
Wow.
So they would buy a cake and have like a little celebration during Thanksgiving, but I would never like have a party.
Wow.
So it wasn't until I got older that people threw stuff for me. I was like, oh shit, this is what I've been missing for 20 years.
Oh, so you,
It's funny you say that, and
some candles in the
it's
turkey.
wild how things that happen to us as childhood play into our adulthood. Because I feel like because I didn't have, my parents would, get you a cake or something like that, but it wasn't like every year. It was this huge deal made about my birthday. So I think growing up and becoming an adult, it just never was a big thing because it wasn't a big thing for me as a kid.
Right.
And I think that just stuck.
you treat your kids like that too? Like if their birthday is a big thing?
To be honest, the reason why my kids' birthdays are made into a thing is because of their mom. It ain't because of me.
Okay.
Like their mom is like, oh, Landon's birthday's coming. What we gonna? I'm like, all right. And I'm not against it. I'm not anti it.
Yeah.
But if it was completely left up to me, I'd be like, yeah, you could come sit here next to me on this couch, watch this movie.
Nah, that's a fact. Shit, it
So-
always be like the female who do the head planning or what we gonna do. We just sit back and say, okay, we'll get this and we'll get that.
Right.
Bro, if women don't plan stuff, will nothing ever
That's
get
a
done.
fact.
Yeah. The first
Definitely a fact.
the first birthday party I ever had was when I was a senior in high school. I was 17, and my girlfriend in high school threw me a surprise birthday party at the Red Lobster in Atlanta.
Wow.
That's lit.
Yeah.
That's back when Red Lobster actually meant something.
Right, right.
I feel like birthdays, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like birthdays being a big thing correlates with like the rise of social media, because I think like everybody needs something to show off or
Draw attention
Oh,
to
get
themselves.
that
draw
attention.
attention. So it's like, oh, it's my birthday, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm
They
going to
wanna
do it
be
because I want to
seen.
post it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because I don't remember before social media. I mean, people celebrate their birthday. Don't get me wrong, but like a month celebration or like
And all that
Yeah,
extra
that
stuff.
month is crazy.
because my
Yeah.
birthday in August, we gonna do something every day.
Right.
Don't call me.
I feel like they go super extravagant, like you said, just for social media.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
if social media didn't exist, you wouldn't be doing all of this.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
You'll celebrate
Especially-
for a weekend, but you're not doing
Exactly.
5 weeks, 5 different
Right.
parties, 5 different spots.
Looking at their credit card
Yeah.
statements and
You
bank
gonna-
accounts
Yeah.
out there, be like, damn, I probably shouldn't have went that hard.
And now you saying men ain't shit when they get close to the first one on Twitter because rent due.
Nah, I feel
We
like
saw them
with
tweets.
social media, it's definitely for a lot of attention, even with the countdown stuff. Then people reposting every post they get for happy birthday. I don't even think I posted my birthday on social media like the last couple years. I just let this shit rock unless like somebody close post something and I just repost it, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Hold on. So you saying you not gonna repost nobody if they say happy birthday to you this year?
What did I just say?
No, I ain't hear what you said. I'm sorry.
I said unless somebody close like post something and I'll repost it.
You
but
already
I'm
know
not-
what he
all right.
reposting.
I was about to say.
the same recycle
me,
pic.
me and Waves like that
Same picture.
like that clip said. Me and Waves been passing the same 3 pictures back since 2010 when we was a lot younger, a lot thinner, and everybody was
Well, I'm about
the
close
same
to that
picture.
size
Well,
now.
you back
so
now. You back. My bad.
we might have to update the picture.
Give me some more time though. I got you.
All right, I got this post right here. It says, bro, can I borrow $50? I hate asking. Reply, I'll just give you 100 if you mow my grass or something. Another 100 if you go do my baby mama's yard. Reply, I'm not doing all that. I'll pay you back when I can come home. Reply, yeah, you cut off.
Damn.
Oh, what the hell?
So you was going to offer him 200?
Nigga.
So pretty much, if I ask one of y'all for some money to borrow something, y'all be like, all right, just come over and do, you know what I'm saying?
You gotta do something. You
You
gotta
gotta
work
work
for
You
it.
work for
Yeah,
it.
work for it.
I wouldn't do
That's
that.
fucked
Nah.
up.
That's
I
not
wouldn't
really
do
a friend. though.
Yeah,
I
That's
just seen you the money.
Yeah, that's a fucked up friend, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you.
All that for $50?
Yeah, that's.
You
And
like-
then you know you got it. You gonna add more money, saying if you do this, I'll give you another extra 50.
That's like flexing you got
the
more money.
Yeah, you
I
got the
don't know.
money.
I kind of feel like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, instead of you paying me the 50 back, you know what I'm saying? If you come over and cut the grass, then
Nah.
Nah,
We
nigga,
even?
I'm gonna pay you your
I'm
50
gonna just
back.
give you your 50
Yeah.
back. Like we grown.
I'm sitting here right now shocked at y'all. I'm like, I'm sitting here shocked at y'all.
bro,
What you expecting me to come cut your grass?
You know what I'm saying?
The reason I'm not,
I would
I wouldn't
respect-
do it. I mean, I didn't ask to borrow money and stuff, and I paid it right back. Like I ain't
No,
about
but I'm
to-
saying if I asked y'all to borrow $50 and y'all been like, yeah, just come over, cut my grass or whatever, I would be like, all right, cool.
All right, hold
Nah,
up, though.
so
I mean, that's-
I'm not asking you
Yeah.
to give me $50. I'm asking you to loan it. Like I'm not asking you for me not to pay you back. Now, if I didn't have it, I know
Because if I
can't pay
cut your
you back.
grass, you're not getting $50 back.
Yeah,
He's
I'm
saying
saying
that's
it's
the
the
point.
barter. Yeah, it's the barter
So look,
system.
Right,
would-
but what I'm saying is I don't want to cut your grass. So how about I just give you a $50?
All right, so look, Rip, I'm gonna say this. If that's what you like to do, then I'll say that. Like if you like to cut grass, then I'd be like, bro, just come cut my grass, because that's what you like to do. I ain't gonna make you come do some shit out the way. that you don't even do.
Oh no, I'd rather cut the grass to give you the 50.
In hindsight, yeah. I don't know.
Yo,
I'd rather cut the grass. To
I
give
kind
you
of
the
like
50
money,
back.
so I don't,
yo,
I don't
how
like
big is
cutting
the
grass.
yard, bro? Nah, bro. I
But
don't
then he
know.
said, "Come cut my baby mama yard."
Yeah, that was actually.
No, but
For
he
another
said,
100.
but he said, yeah, he'll add
Another
some
100.
more money on there.
Bro,
So that's
nah.
$200 for 2 lawns.
No, that's
Yeah,
$100
listen,
for
if
one.
you-
It's
No, I
two.
thought he said another 100.
150.
150.
150.
150 for 2.
If you'll come cut 5.5 acres for $50, nigga,
Yeah,
I'm
you
with
tripping.
it.
Yeah.
I'm with it. Come on,
That's
with a push
crazy.
lawnmower too.
Right.
Oh no, sir.
Nah.
And you got to edge it too. No,
I would
sir.
get one of my dad's riding Jones and I'd be good.
Yeah.
Nah, but if $50 is, I can't. $50 to me is some short shit. So if you ask me for $50, then it's whatever. Like
Yeah, I feel the same.
I'm gonna
way.
give you the fit. And 9 out of 10, because I know how niggas is. If you give it back, great. Now we talking $50.
$50.
Right.
Yeah.
If you give it back, great. If you don't, I probably won't even really
trip
trip
off.
off.
You probably won't even remember.
I'm gonna remember, but I probably won't trip.
20, I'm not gonna remember. 50, I'm
Yeah,
like, hey, remember that 50?
50, I'm gonna remember.
You know when I'm gonna remember 50 when 2K come out. Can I get that?
But you can just buy me 2K, bro. You ain't even gotta give me my money back.
Yeah, there you go.
That's a fact.
Yeah, I don't know, cuz that's crazy.
All right, we've been podcasting. Since what, 2017? So it's 2023 now. How y'all feel about podcasting? Like personally, y'all doing it, and just overall the whole atmosphere and space of podcasting.
Oh, I'll go first. I still don't like it. I like to listen. I'm not the best at doing it because I hate my voice. I hate the way I sound. I don't like being on camera, all of the above. But I'll support and I'll listen to everybody else's. I'm a big fan of podcasting at work because it gets me through the day.
Yeah.
If I know, if I've heard everything out, I know a podcast is somewhere waiting for me. So,
That's a fact.
Being honest, I think for me, podcasting is therapy for real. Like
We know.
I mean,
We done heard y'all show.
to me, it's therapy. So I mean, I felt that way when we was doing You and You. I felt like it was therapy too. Also, it was just fun therapy. Like it's easy to. I feel like especially when you're around people that you love and you cool, like we brothers and shit. Like it's easy to say. It's almost like you forget that you actually podcasting.
Yeah, you
in
just
my
having a
opinion,
conversation.
you just having conversation. So that's what I really like about podcasts. That's what I like.
I feel like it's a double-edged sword.
That is true too.
I love it and hate it at the same time. To be honest with you, I enjoy the final product and the artistry of it, but also on the other end, it's a lot of work.
Yes.
Like it takes time, it takes dedication, it takes perfecting this craft. It's almost like, it's almost like a job that you don't get properly compensated for.
Yep.
And no one wants to work for free.
Right.
That's a fact.
So, there is times where I thought it's like, why am I doing this? It's like, what's the point? It's like, are y'all Negroes even listening to what the hell I'm saying? But when I check my numbers, the numbers is good. The audience is growing. I think the You and You network for that. So I feel like it's a double-edged sword, and it's definitely, for me, it could be a love-hate relationship at times.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. It is a lot of work. I do more work for the podcast than I do for my real job. And shout out to the You and You network, 3
Yes.
stars, 2 bars, unprocessed knowledge, separate the 2, reservation for 3, Kodasheen.
Wherever he may be.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the room, Kadesh.
But yeah, we've been doing this for a minute, and like it's a lot of work. Like
I say for me, I'm one that enjoy it. I like to talk, and it gives me. I think now that I'm older, and I don't the social media outlet of expressing yourself can be challenging because it's a popularity contest more than it is social media.
facts.
And so I feel like with my own show, I'm able to be my authentic self and say what I feel and not have to worry about somebody. Well, somebody could still be offended by it, but they can't podcast me back.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like this is my show, and if you enjoy what I have to say, then you tune in. Like I'm real big on I'm real big now on being connected with people that are like-minded or may feel how I feel, to create like a community for myself.
True.
Because I think that's necessary. I think even when we talk about social media, even though, some things you may express may get you in some type of trouble, I think it's necessary to have some type of outlet.
Right.
And some people don't have people around them. So social media is their way of having that outlet. For me, it's my podcast. I've noticed for myself over the years, I've done less and less vocalizing my opinion on things on social media and saving it for my podcast.
Right.
And I get gratification, like Scott said, from seeing the numbers and seeing like, oh, people are coming back every week. You know what I'm saying? That's motivation enough for me to keep going. The challenge is for me in my personal journey in podcasting is doing it with other people, because that's a challenge in itself. Getting schedules to coincide, getting on the same page. Even we was doing the You and You, it just had, I wanted to do You and You more, but it's such a challenge to get so many people moving at the same pace at the same time.
Right.
And even in having a show where it's just me and one other person, it's still that challenge of like, do our schedules coincide, And so
especially like what Scott was saying about the doing it for free. You know what I'm saying? If we was getting paid for it, then niggas would be like, yeah, I'm about to show up so I can get this check.
Right.
that's a fact.
True.
That's a fact. But I've always been a person that's had hobbies. And so it's just become, like I said, one of my hobbies. So like, don't get me wrong. I want to make money from it.
Right.
But I'm not driven by that. I'm driven by just enjoying an opportunity to vent and, get something off my mind, off my chest.
That's one of the things that I used to hate when we first started podcasting. Like, everybody will always ask me, like, you getting paid for it or you trying to get paid for it? I'm like, bruh, come on. I enjoy doing it. Like, that shit is annoying.
And don't get me wrong, it's ways to make money with it, but then you're talking about another job.
Yeah.
So podcasting in itself is a job. Marketing it is a job. Finding creative ways to monetize it is a job. And when you're doing like this podcast where you're doing it by yourself, that's a lot of hats to wear. And people have sort of put a negative energy around, especially male podcasts.
Right.
Some of it is warranted. I mean, some people be wild as shit. You know what I'm saying? But my thing is like anything else. It's like music. I don't like every piece of music that's made. I gravitate to the music that I like. And I think versus people bashing podcasts, they should just gravitate to the podcasts that they like. And believe it or not, there's a ton of people that's still not hip to podcasts.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
True.
Yeah.
I still find people every day that's be like, podcast? How do I listen to that? So it's wild. I didn't realize it's been 7 years though.
Yeah,
That's a long time.
That's
You about to move? Hey, Rip, before you move on, let me ask y'all this question.
6
What's y'all favorite show that we did together? You and you, Joe.
Probably the
Favorite show.
R&B, Joe.
The R&B,
R&B
bracket.
R&B bracket.
Yeah,
That was
yeah, that was.
That joint was fire.
That was a good one.
Or whatever show that Scott talked about the air conditioning. That was funny.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I
The
definitely got it.
77.
I definitely got it on 73 today.
There you go.
But that's because I got a whole new unit.
Yeah. Nah,
Well, let me
that's
play
tough.
this clip right here, and let me get y'all thoughts.
matter if you a good person, cuz like don't nobody care that a man is a good person if he broke. You know what I'm saying? Don't nobody care if a man is a good person if he can't fight. Don't nobody care if a man is a good, like all that comes after you meet the technical requirements. That gets stressful, bro. It wears on us, you feel me? Like, again, I be hearing that it's about other shit, but be honest, bro. It's about that after we meet the technical terms. And that is really starting to eat away at us, bro. Suicide amongst black boys, amongst black men is rising. You know what I'm saying? And it's from carrying the weight of this thing that we taught not to complain about. And many of us never will.
That's a
we'll
fact.
carry it to the grave, bro. We'll grind ourselves right the fuck away to meet that standard of manhood.
That's a fact.
But I think it's a responsibility still, though.
But it's a toxic standard that was set by you guys. So I guess the next step is. I didn't lie. Women didn't set the standard.
Let's pause. I am a black man. I subscribe. I did not set.
Okay,
I did
that.
not build the standard.
Right,
I
so-
build no system. The most I can do is subscribe.
Right, but you subscribing, how can you change your subscription?
What again? Before you put this all on men, what do women still expect us to be?
That's deep.
Thoughts?
Yeah, that was deep. That's crazy. Shit.
Thoughts?
I think we have to stop installing.
I got plenty of thoughts, but I don't want to be the one doing all the talking.
No, but I just feel like there's definitely like this main like standard or vision of a black man that what he gotta do, provide, protect, all these keywords that they be throwing out today and stuff, and it's like we gotta damn near be like perfect. We can't have no flaws. We can't have no imperfections or nothing. It's always us that gotta hold some sort of accountability on something, and it's just like, okay, we sitting out here just looking at it as like, you know what I'm saying, we gotta shut up and basically like what they were saying with LeBron, shut up and dribble. We gotta shut up and walk. We gotta shut up and go to work. We gotta shut up and come home. We gotta shut up and pay bills. Is nothing else.
Yeah.
We can't be nothing outside of the standard. We can't be an individual. We can't be, like John was saying, we can't be authentically ourselves.
That's a fact. And then females these days always be like,
Women.
yeah, women be like, I'm old school, or I got that old school thought where
No, they don't.
the man have to do this and have to do that. Like, where did that come from?
Women nowadays are old school when it's convenient for them.
Facts.
Facts.
And the reason why I say what he said is so deep, because you know I like to bring things to my own personal self, right? So at 43, I wish I knew at what I know now at 43 at 23. And one of the biggest things I'm gonna say to men, especially young black men in our community, like I feel like if men really be honest, we have put so much into a woman, having a woman, being with a woman, that we have not spent enough time on ourselves.
Right.
And it took me so many years to realize this. Like, yo, I put so much energy into compromise, adjusting, changing, trying to change, trying to do different to please some woman. And it took me a long time to realize, like, yo, when are you going to do something that pleases you? When are you going to do something that makes you feel good? And I'm telling y'all, I'm speaking from experience. As men, when you take that time and you get yourself personally together and you get your shit in order and whatever that is for you,
Right.
you will find that you would not be attracted to the same type of women. You wouldn't tolerate the same things from women. You wouldn't be so easy. Like women always talk about men so easy. You know, if you throw some box at them, you got them. You know what I'm saying? We wouldn't be so easy because when you take the time to build something yourself and really put that time in, you're not going to just let anybody come in and be in that. And what's happening now is you have women that have that mindset. They work on themselves. They build themselves up. They work in the jobs. They get the money. They buying the houses. They have the cars. They can travel. And they not going to just let anybody come into their world. And I think more men need to start having that standard for themselves.
Right. It's almost like when you, and this just came to me when John was speaking, like we like the going to Coming to America. We like the woman in Coming to America in the beginning when Eddie Murphy was supposed to marry the chick or whatever. We like her. We have to, from the moment that we start really comprehending things as a little black boy or whatever, we getting everything from our mothers, the society and stuff like that, to the point where we programmed to be a certain way for somebody else, for a woman, as opposed to actually being who we supposed to be, who we were created to be, who we uniquely supposed to be. We got to design ourselves around what manhood is, or what masculinity is, or you know what I'm saying, all that stuff like that. We never get to the point where we actually decide to be who we supposed to be.
And I'm not saying women are a bad thing, and I'm not saying having a woman is a bad thing. Don't get me wrong. I want to be clear, because I know how people do.
Right.
Having a woman is a beautiful thing. Having somebody by your side and being a helpmeet and all that is a beautiful thing. I see so many guys, though, that are dependent upon that woman. And not to quote Jay-Z, but Jay-Z said in a song, I think it was on Best of Both Worlds, he said, you never know how somebody really feels about you when they need you or you need them. Because, or that's what it was. He said, you never know how somebody feels about you when you're both down. Because you both need each other. So there's no strain on the relationship. But when one person get their stuff together and the other person don't, then you'll start seeing, one side, you'll start seeing how they really feel about you. But the other side, you're not really seeing because they still need you. But when you both got your shit together, that's when you really find out what the two feel about each other. And I thought when he said that, it was so powerful, because I see so many times that men attach themselves to women. And yes, there's an attraction there. Yes, you like having sex, with this woman. You like being around this woman. But are you really with this woman because you really feel strongly about this woman? Or are you with this woman because you need her? And the reason why I say that, I see a lot of guys that I'm living with my woman. I'm driving my woman's car. The guy said, oh, if you're not doing this, we're so dependent upon what a woman does for us. And I'm not saying everybody. I'm saying I just see this a lot. And I think if more men took the time to get on that path or that same level as women are trying to put themselves on, I think it would change. It would completely change the dynamic. And you wouldn't be pressed for every little thing that come your way. Because once again, you're not going to let just anybody come in and tear down something that you built. You will tolerate things differently. Some of the stuff that women get off and be saying, I'm like, you must deal with a dude that depends on you or that needs you. Because any dude that don't need you like that is not going to tolerate some of this stuff. I don't know. I don't want to get long-winded.
Any more thoughts? I got another clip that ties into the last clip.
Well, before you go to the next one, the gentleman in the previous clip you played, he touched on a good man and what a good man is. If you ask 10 different women what a good man is, you get 10 different answers.
That's facts. That's definitely facts.
Like, what is a good man? Like, who knows what that is? And I'm wondering, like, as black men, how are we defining masculinity? Are we defining that based off what other women taught us masculinity is?
That's kind of that's a great question, Scott. And like I said, getting older, I find myself I don't even worry about that. Like, I think masculinity that's talk for women. True. As men, I think you need to be the man that you are.
True.
And the woman and whoever gravitates to the man that you are, because guess what? Every nigga don't know how to fight.
Yeah. True.
Every nigga is not going to make $1 million
Ask
a
Earl
year.
Spence.
We're not doing that.
Every nigga is not going to make $1 million a year. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And Kevin Samuels, may he rest in peace, he got ripped apart, but a lot of stuff he was saying was true.
Yeah.
He said how 95% of the women are after a 1% man.
Yeah.
Right.
Facts.
It doesn't make
crazy.
sense.
It doesn't,
That's crazy.
And
Them
people
numbers
say,
don't add
"Oh, he's crazy." He said, "No, he's just saying in a harsh way sometimes." But all he basically was saying was, "We got to start being more realistic."
Yeah.
Exactly.
Facts.
Yeah.
That's bottom line.
Yeah. All right, let me play this clip.
I think we have to stop installing this opinion of manhood and good man into our boys, our young men, our men. A lot of times what we're held to as even what being okay looks like is a societal standard, and it doesn't leave room for that man to develop on his own.
Yes.
Because I'm trying to develop into something for somebody else. Realize who I am outside of my relation to other people, because that's really what a man through societal standard is measured by, is his relationship to his work, his relationship to his family, his relationship to his wife, his relationship to power and provision. And none of it is about developing as a whole person. And we continually like install this into boys and men and wonder why there's a lack there. It's not so much about the spaces we occupy. Men dominate a whole lot of space. We got plenty of space. It's just that the version of manhood is not safe.
Yeah, it's almost like just from that clip and the last clip or whatever, it's like everything that we do has to be based off of some external shit. It's never about like
some standard.
Yeah, it's never about like, oh, John, he funny, so you know what I'm saying. That's what brings out for me. Or son, you know what I'm saying. He got the cool jokes or whatever. Or
He's a protector.
Yeah, you know what I'm
I
saying.
like the way he protects me.
Yeah.
He's horrible at cars. He can't fix a car, but
Right.
he makes me feel safe. You know what I'm saying? It's like
that feel safe shit is just that's opinionated. Basically. Like
Exactly.
That's true
You saying he protect me, bro? That's a feeling.
But that's almost that's projection and shit. They projecting shit off of what they getting from society onto us or whatever. They not even allowing us. That goes down to the whole point of like when you talk about men and with how men feel love with respect. A lot of women don't respect men.
Facts.
Period.
Facts.
That's a fact.
Like, because
Facts.
they don't even allow us to be ourselves.
And-
like, how you say you love me, but you not even allowing me to be
Your true self.
Exactly.
They want you to be somebody else.
But you hit the
Exactly.
nail on the head. It's not even a personal thing. It's an overall thing. And you hit the nail on the head. Women don't respect men, whether that be from they didn't have respect for their father or their grandfather
Right.
or something that happened to. It's just across the board. I don't respect men, and so it doesn't matter that you my boyfriend, my husband, my father, my uncle, my brother. I just don't have respect for men, and that's what we up against.
Right.
And it's so true. Like men, if I don't feel respected in my situation, I'm out of there. That's
Right.
me. That's me personally. I'm out of there. I cannot. I don't. And my respect is not predicated on how much money I bring to the house,
Right.
or my
you going in the
respect
house,
is
yeah.
not predicated on whether I made you feel good or not today. You know what I'm saying? Respect is respect. Period. And I think a lot of women miss that. A lot of women miss that, and it goes both ways.
Yeah.
We have to be respectful towards women. You know what I'm saying? But I just know that I think that because both men and women have not spent enough time, like Scott saying, understanding self, that we get in these relationships and it's two strangers trying to,
Right.
you're a stranger to yourself, I'm a stranger to myself, and we trying to make something work together.
If you don't have a good relationship with yourself, you have no business trying to be in a relationship with nobody
Facts,
else.
bro.
Yep.
Facts.
And my thing is, when people get in these relationships, like, what do y'all want? What do y'all want out the relationship? Like, what y'all want this relationship to be? Like, he wasn't, he not a millionaire. You probably knew he couldn't fight when you met him. You probably knew he wasn't 6 feet with muscles.
Right.
It's like now you get with him and you expect him to be a totally different dude.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
that's completely illogical.
Well, we gotta ask the reason why are you even in this relationship in the first place. Like, you're in a relationship because you're following a script. because that's what you feel like you're supposed to be in.
Yep.
Yeah.
A lot of people do.
Yeah.
But that's the thing about social media. Social media has made it to the point where, like, how I call it, attention ships.
Yeah.
Niggas want attention. And they want to post stuff about, you know what I'm saying, going on vacation, holding hands and taking pictures and going on these dates and stuff like that. Like, are you really in a relationship, or are you in a relationship with the person that you're dating, or are you in a relationship with the people that's following you, that's giving you those likes and shit?
Or even with women who get with people where they try to turn them into something that they want them to be instead of being with the person that they with.
Yeah. I can change him. I can
can
mold him into what I want.
Like they,
when you know
they
that's not who
try
they are.
to have this fantasy of what they want in a guy, like they building something when that person is not that person at all.
Social media has normalized living up to a relationship standard that is not real, which is illogical when you think about it. You trying to live up to something that is fake.
Yeah.
And I say this all the time. We've let the pimps, prostitutes, scammers, and drug dealers set the standard.
They're looked up to on social media.
Yeah, they say, if you think about it, all the people that have the say so, if you really sit back and look at it, they the pimps, the prostitutes, the scammers, and the drug dealers.
Yeah.
How they think, how they move, how they operate has nothing to do with my normal life.
That's the quote unquote culture. That's our culture.
That's our culture. I don't do none of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a fucking manager. Like, that's it.
I'm a manager.
I'm a manager.
I don't drive a Benz. I work for a living. You know how he got that Benz? He sells drugs. That's not me.
You know what I'm saying?
From everything, from the salary you make, the job you work, where you travel, what restaurants you going to, is all about this standard that they want you to live up to. And if you're not living up to it, then you're a bum, or you're broke, or whatever.
If you go to certain restaurants now and you're looking at they clown, you're like, what you doing there? You couldn't go here. He couldn't take you there.
Right. Like, I mean, I just be sitting there like, bruh, because I know I've gone on plenty of dates or whatever, and like, this shit ain't cheap.
Yeah, it's definitely not.
Like,
bruh, one thing I could say in my experience, and I say this with the utmost confidence. Most of the conversations and stuff that we see and run into online, on social media, I have never experienced in my personal life.
Yeah.
I have never had a woman turn her nose up because I took her to a certain restaurant.
Yeah,
I've never experienced, a woman not wanting to talk to me because I didn't drive I have never experienced
Or the main one, when you ain't 6 feet tall.
Yeah. I've never.
That ain't real life.
Yeah. So a lot of the stuff that they talk about, it's this clip with Tommy Davidson I love. He be like, who are these niggas? But that's how I be. I be like, what are y'all talking about? This never happens. This shit is all over social media.
From my experience, from the plenty of years, I'm 41 years old. Like, a chick that's feeling you, she gonna do whatever.
Exactly.
Whatever. Yeah. Like, if you can go to the damn park, she don't care as long as she with you.
Yeah.
And
it doesn't matter.
And as a dude that has been blessed to have personality over the years, your personality will take you further than any money or anything else will.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, all these women that talk about, he took me, they didn't have a good time.
Yeah.
If you notice, they never post about the great time they had. They just want to show you what they did.
Yeah. That they doing something.
Yeah.
And that's why I would be like, you can tell a lot of times where people ain't never been nowhere before.
That too.
You can always tell when nobody ain't been nowhere before.
But then you also got them women who, when they are traveling somewhere, they don't show the guy that they with.
It's all smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
That shit is
all for show.
Yeah, and I tell, especially young people that haven't lived long enough to separate the two. No pun intended.
Oh, see what you did there.
No pun intended. But I think because we're older, we have and we've gone through life experience. Like somebody tweeted something, back in the day, what did y'all do for fun? Like, and I always say, nigga, we was outside for real.
Outside.
It wasn't just a term. Like, nigga, I was really outside. Like, I've dated, I've traveled, I've done all this stuff, and so I'm able to separate social media bullshit from real life. I can say, but a lot of young people,
Right.
that's all they know.
Yeah.
They think life is social media.
They think if you didn't see it, it didn't happen.
Yeah, that's facts.
Pics or it didn't happen. That's what it's called.
Well, we also have to keep in mind, I mean, if you're under the age, if you're 25 and under, you grew up on social media.
That's all they
That's
know.
a fact.
That's all they
That's
know.
a
That's
fact.
basically been your
That's a
life.
fact.
Yeah.
And that's kind of scary when you think about
Yeah.
it, because that means where we got a lot of our knowledge from experience, they're fed what they know and
Right,
what they
yeah.
think. It's programming.
They don't have no social skills.
It's, They don't.
All they know how to do is date online.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Download an app, like a picture.
They don't
Let's
develop
meet up
social
here.
skills because at this point in time, you really don't need them. And this because technology is everything.
Yeah.
They don't need to go out and touch grass when everything's in their hand.
I mean, that's something you bring up, dating sites or whatever they call. I have never done that.
I've never used it either.
Yeah.
I have never done it, and when people talk about, I'm always curious about it. I'm like, when I talk to people that have done it or do it, I'm like, so how do you? I'm just old fashioned in that aspect. Like, I think if I got on a dating app, I wouldn't even know what to do. Like,
You can't bring out your personality.
You be swiping
But
left.
my
Yeah,
thing
you
is like, what do you even need the dating app for when you already got the social media? It's the same thing.
That's true too.
well,
It's called the
But
explore page.
if women look at if women look at their DMs,
Yeah.
because women. Let them tell it. They
They don't
don't
look
pay
at
the
it.
DMs no mind. So
Meanwhile,
it's
They're just waiting on the right person to get
Right.
in DM. They definitely looking at DMs.
It's weird. I'll find my women the old fashioned way at the grocery store.
All right, let me move on to the Blackety Black Woke segment. I'm sure Scott will love this. And I'm sure
I'm waiting on this for 99 episodes.
I'm sure y'all might have talked about this already on y'all pods, but I'm gonna bring it up again because I'm curious to hear it, and right now. Okay. So let me play this clip.
Black men are responsible for her being masculine because we have not helped to raise them children. I am.
All right, hold on, my fault.
Oh, there was more. Okay.
Yeah. Let me start from the beginning. Mercury retrograde.
Black men are responsible for her being masculine because we have not helped to raise them children. I am. And when I say help them raise them children, I don't mean you as the stepdad. No, I mean you as an active member in the community. She got masculine because she had to become masculine in order to deal with the rape, the abuse, the domestic violence, the disappointments that men had in her life, and also raising those kids and having to take care of herself all at the same time. The black woman has been the be-all, end-all in our community for half of a century, and now we want to turn around and say because she didn't do it perfectly enough or remain feminine enough when she had to absorb our responsibilities plus her own, that's insensitive and disingenuous.
This is exactly why I do not support propagating tribalistic political ideals, because in reality it's ineffectual and it's pointless. The idea that black men are predominantly responsible for the pernicious choices that black women have made that have resulted in the adverse outcomes that they experience in life, from poor mate selectivity to adopting poor values, poor attitudes, and poor mentalities, is bullshit. There's a myriad of variable situations and circumstances that cannot be equally applied across domains within the black community itself, because the black community itself is too vast. A communal approach would have little to no effect on a community of 42+ million people, especially when you deal with a community of women whose attitude is, I know what I'm doing, I don't need any help, I don't need any correction, and think that they're always right. Black women were documented as early as in the 1950s saying that they don't need a husband to raise children and that they could do it by themselves. Before the crack epidemic, before mass incarceration, and before President Lyndon B. Johnson's Welfare Act in 1964 incentivized black mothers to become single and not get married to attain government assistance. There's a movie called Boys in the Hood, and it portrayed perfectly how difficult it can be for a black man to take youthful black men under his wing and try to help them make better decisions, only to be disregarded and still end up in detrimental situations and ultimately dead or behind bars. He had his own son Trey, and Trey's best friends were Doughboy and Rick, and he rightfully stated that Doughboy and Rick were not his responsibility because they weren't his kids, and Doughboy and Rick didn't give a fuck about him and care to listen to him anyway. They did what they were going to do, and what happened? They ultimately both ended up 6 feet under. Black women will not be absolved of the poor choices that they make, and black men cannot be held accountable for kids that aren't theirs, that care nothing about the guidance and insight that they try to provide when they're ultimately going to do whatever they want to do because they can. Solutions are granted to individuals who value those solutions and who are open and receptive to understanding how they can obtain those solutions. And once that consists of enough individuals who align with those same values and attitudes, then a community is born. not the average black man's responsibility to pander and simp for a group of women who make poor mating and lifestyle choices because we're black, especially when they're disrespectful, don't value our input, and think they know more and better than us.
I'm always impressed how people get on and break stuff down. I am not that good.
Yeah, okay. Yo, the first dude, he just giving women, he
Dr.
just showing
Umar.
that.
Yeah, I thought that was him.
Yo, it's just like you basically saying no, women are not taking accountability for anything. Like you, like, hey, the reason they were this way is because of you. The reason, like, that doesn't even make sense to me. That's wild, bro. That is wild. Like, no accountability on a woman. It's like, all right, she this way because of you. Her attitude sucked. She can say, oh, that's wild as fuck, bro.
I think sometimes we get so caught up in right and wrong that we forget two things can be right at the same time.
Exactly.
True.
Exactly.
I think everybody is making
dang.
valid points. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm talking too much.
No, go ahead.
But I feel
We
like
get a pod.
I feel like that it's fundamental, and I guess I'm just talking about my community because that's all I can really speak to. There are fundamental things that we need to address that will vastly help the overall. And it really goes back to the little things that we said at the beginning of this show. A lot of people are coming together in relationships and procreating under the wrong pretenses and the wrong agendas, and it's contributing to the scatteredness that we have now.
Trying to fulfill some type of void that they got within themselves. And outside of the historical aspects of it, like just speaking on black women, you have certain black women, and it's not all black women, I have to say that. Certain black women that will try to fulfill some type of void within themselves, and they will have a child with a man that they already know that man said that he don't want to have no child with them, but they will have a child, period, or they will
even further than that, not to cut you off, that you shouldn't even be sleeping with this nigga to begin with.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was about to say.
And it's I hate to be this guy, but I hear so many women preference picking a mate on looks and his sexual ability. You already set yourself up for disaster, because the sex part that is what's used to create these children, right? It's a whole bunch of other stuff that need to be in place before you procreate with this person. And I think that, like I said, it's so many fundamental things that we got fucked up. You know,
they always talk about like black men not having discipline when it comes to sex and all this other stuff. But it's the same thing with women. Women get down there and they sleep with dudes knowing that they don't really want to be with this dude, but they just want a quick fix. It's the same shit. It's the same shit on both sides. They want a quick fix. They want to feel wanted in that moment. They want to feel love. They, you know what I'm saying? They think that connection is going to fulfill them, and that hopefully it'll lead to something more, that they can continuously get this fix going on. But then it end up being something that they didn't sign up for, and then they don't know how to control their emotions, and then it gets bigger and bigger. It adds on. It's like throwing, like, I forgot who was saying it. What was you, Littles? You were saying that throwing fuel on the fire? So it's just like, people always look at it like it's a black and white situation, like John was saying, a right and wrong situation. There's so much of a bigger gray area with these situations that people don't want to take accountability for, particularly in these situations. And I'll be the one to say it be certain black women that do this.
I mean, men play a role too, though. Like,
definitely,
social media,
big time. And the reason why I say men, that's why both are right, because men play a role big time. Because going back to what I said earlier, when you get your shit together, you probably would have never had a baby with that woman. You would have never laid down with that woman. You know what I'm saying? We do so many things out of circumstance. You know, if that makes sense.
Littles, you want to go ahead and talk about your baby mamas?
Say what now? That does not exist. Continue, John.
I would say there was definitely a lot of information said in those clips. The first thing I would like to say is Boys in the Hood was a great movie. Great movie. I loved it too, but you definitely can't get your history from Hollywood.
Yeah.
The thing I thought about was, sure, we are all responsible for our actions as an individual. The thing that came to mind was, as black men, or as black people in general, not just black men, as black people in general, if we consider ourselves as a community, have we created a community environment where a black woman feels like she doesn't have to do it all by herself? Even if her particular man doesn't work out and she has a baby by him, then does the community step in, and do we see that child as a member of the community, or do we see that child as your child, your responsibility? You know, you deal with it, and hopefully he don't rob me in 15 years.
I think that's what it is nowadays. When I was growing up, man, everybody was taking care of everybody. If I was around the corner hanging on the block.
How old are you, Marcus?
34.
And you were born in 1988. 88, okay.
Yeah.
You barely made it, brother.
Yeah.
He's on the cusp.
Yeah, like, people would go and tell my mom, like, oh, your son around the corner doing this, doing that. Like, it was like a community. Like, I feel like, especially like now in my hood where I grew up at, it's way different. You know
and I think the main thing you touched on was community, because if we go back to some of the black leaders that they still make movies about, the Huey P. Newtons, the Dr. Kings, the Malcolm X's, people of that era, Stokely Carmichael, they preached black unity and black community. So they preach, like, if a young sister has a baby, we as a community, we got to look out for this young sister. The Black Panther started the Free Breakfast for Children program because they read somewhere that if young black youths got a good breakfast before they go to school, they do better in school. So they wasn't millionaires. They all pitched in and they cooked breakfast for the neighborhood kids and sent them off to school. So that was the community aspect of it. And I think what Dr. Umar was touching on is that black woman today, she feels like she has to be the mother and the father and has an attitude and cuss everybody out because we as a community, we let her down as basically saying, well, you had a baby by him, so it's all on you now. You know, we're not going to do nothing for you. It's all on you. But if we this community that we say we are, and we going to come together as a people and look out for each other, well, we got to look out for that sister and that baby too.
Yeah.
But we're community as cliche. It's not really a community.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's the cliche thing to say, but we really don't have no community.
Yeah, just piggybacking off of what Waves was saying, like, yeah, back when we was younger, like us being born in the 80s, like other people like had permission to give me whoopings and shit like that wasn't part of my family. But just going off the example of today, like me, like when I go into the gym and stuff like that, when I try to give like young kids pointers and stuff like that, them niggas don't be trying to listen to nothing I be saying. And I just be like, damn, all right, I mean, cool. I just back off, like, you know what I'm saying? I tried to help you out. It is what it is, and I'm gonna keep on moving. But it's just like today, like, I don't know what it is, but like these young dudes don't be trying to hear nothing that we gotta say.
Well, it's what Scott said, when we're letting Hollywood and the music industry and social media be the guiding light.
You can't let the city girls raise your children.
Exactly. Exactly. If social media and Hollywood and the music is the guiding light, I mean, look at the music.
Yeah.
And the music is a direct correlation to how the youngins are now. Just like when we were young, you know, I said this not too long ago. I remember we listened to the drug dealers and the hustlers, and that's what we wanted to be. You know what I mean? Now they killers and drug users, and that's what the kids want to be. You know what I mean? And it's like going to your point, Rip. How can I expect a youngin to listen to something I'm trying to instill in them? They don't even listen to their mom and daddy.
True.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And they mom and daddy so worried about posting their booty or you know, posting something they just bought on social media, they not even realizing that their kids is drifting further and further and further away.
I feel like a main part of that now is a lack of respect. Growing up, we always respected women. We always respected old people, and we always respected kids. Nowadays, you see kids, women getting shot left and right. Like, it's no respect out in the communities.
Even if you was doing something you wasn't supposed to be doing, when you seen that elder walking down the street, you put that away.
Right.
Yep.
You knew how to act until they went into their house, and then he went back to acting the fool.
And
You
they
didn't want to do it,
and they didn't bob you at all. As long as you ain't doing that stuff in front of them, and once they went in, you continue doing what you're doing. That was it.
Right. But think about the time that we're talking about. The elders was some source of power or authority.
True.
Yeah.
Guess what, y'all? We the elders.
That's facts.
That's crazy.
We definitely the
elders. and I pause because I want anybody that's between the age of 30 and 50, just pause for a second. Nigga, we the elders.
Right, yeah.
What example are we setting? Yeah. I know folk my age, they just as bad as the kids.
That's facts.
And that's the problem.
That's facts.
And
that's the problem.
And it'd be like like people our age hanging out with the little kids and stuff on the block. Like,
that looks very weird.
calling. I've seen grown men calling a nigga younger than him his OG.
Yeah.
Nigga, what are you talking?
Well, big bro.
Who are these niggas? I mean, it's a fact. In the fact that we're in denial of that we are the elders is the reason why we have. I'm still young. I said, no, baby, you the elder.
Yeah.
How you gonna tell a young girl to pull her skirt down and I can see your booty crack?
Yeah. Bama in the gym called me sir today. I was like, bruh, Bama at the front desk.
Nigga,
like,
you is a sir.
For real.
You don't feel like it, but you are.
Funny you should say that. I get that every day. It'd be like some young people working my building. I'd be like, elevator 3rd floor. And they'd be like, thank you, sir. And I'm like, wait a minute. And then I think about it. I'm fucking 40. Like, yes, I am a sir now.
I'm looking at your big. You are definitely a sir. But that and this is why I say it's not really a right or wrong. It's a lot of elements and it's a lot of things that we have to figure it out. Mm-hmm. You know, and I'm gonna throw this out here, and this always blows my mind. How old was Martin Luther King when he was assassinated?
Damn,
36.
Nigga, I'm 43.
Yeah, that's true.
Martin Luther King, my nigga, was 36. Think about that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's true.
That nigga moved the whole fucking world. He was 36.
Yeah.
Nigga, I'm 43 and I'm still mad. You know what I'm saying? My son, I'm fighting with my son about he spending too much time on the tablet. Like, and Martin Luther King started a civil rights movement.
Yeah, that's true.
We the elders, man.
Yeah. All right, let me play this clip. It's from Dr. Umar, but it's just
keep the Dr. Umar coming, bro.
Nah, but it just goes to show about the black and white thing, because it's definitely two things can be true at one time.
Yep.
Facts.
But I want to be clear. I know some of us love our children, but some of our children are so far gone that we're going to have to put some of them to sleep in order to take back the neighborhood. Some of y'all don't want to hear that because you don't live in reality. But I'm telling you, as a psychologist, I'm not going to be able to psychologize all of them on the corner. Some of them going to sleep from God!
Now, I don't know about that.
Yo, what the fuck, bro?
I love that video clip. I watch it. I watch it every time it's on Twitter.
Say it for good.
Damn.
He's not lying though.
Not to not to that extreme.
Not to that extreme, but you get his
point.
point.
But I get his point, and it goes back to what I'm saying. How do you? That's my question. How do you get through to a young person that don't even listen to his mama and daddy?
Yeah.
He doesn't. Not only he don't listen to them, he has no respect for them, because he doesn't look at his parents as some type of authority figure.
Right.
Yeah.
My daddy, nigga, you know how much stuff I didn't do because I knew Royce would put his foot up my ass?
Yeah.
Facts.
No, that's facts. That's facts.
You know how much stuff that I didn't let come across that threshold because I know Royce would put a foot in my ass?
Yep.
We talking about youngins 10, 11, 12, 13 got drugs and guns in their bedroom.
Right.
My nigga, the most I did was, had a stack of PlayStations, and if it wasn't for the fact I came up with a good story about them, nigga, it was gonna be a problem up in that joint.
Right. I still don't cuss around my parents.
You see what I'm saying?
I be going over my parents' house and they be like, "You trying to take a shot?" And I be feeling uncomfortable. I'm like, "Y'all want me to take a shot?" Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I still don't drink around. I don't drink alcohol around my family. I do it around my little cousins because they got their own spots. They my little cousins. I see them like little brothers and sisters. When we over grandma's house, they bringing out the alcohol. I'm like, nah, nigga, I'm not drinking in front of my grandma. I don't use the N-word. I look at my cousins when I'm like, dog, not around grandma. Yeah. Talk like that when they gone. Like,
I think you have to have a healthy
respect,
I
fear.
was about to say install
of your parents.
Yeah, you got to install fear in your kids. That's how I feel.
And even I could speak to even in my personal situation. I got a son and daughter, 6 and 8 years old, and I talked about this before. Me and their mom is like good cop, bad cop. Well, I don't know. She might be bad cop now. I might be more. But I say that to say, you gotta have that yin and yang in parenting. Yeah. That's another reason why it's important to have. I'm not gonna say 2 parents in the household, even though that's ideal. Yeah. But you need both parents in the kid's life.
Yeah, you have to be active.
You have to be active. And right now, me and my kids' mother not together, but my kids with me 3-4 times a week. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. You got to be active in your child's life. But I say all that to say, and I told her even from when they were real young, there's going to have to be a certain level of healthy fear in my children because I'm not going to always be around. Yeah. And I remember, like I said, there was a lot of times where I could have got into some bullshit. But I was like, nah, nigga, I don't know how your father rock, nigga, but if the police bring me home, nigga, it's a wrap.
Shit, my mother.
Yeah. In my house, it was my dad. You know what I'm saying? For some others, it was their mom. But it's got to be something there. You know what I'm saying? Usually, my father put his foot in my ass and my mom come and patch me up. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta have that other voice in your head. Exactly. Like, damn, I ain't trying to deal with this.
Discipline establishes guardrails.
Yeah.
If you have not abuse, if you have proper discipline in your house, there's guardrails, so you know what you can and cannot get away with.
Yeah.
Certain stuff, we was all young ones. Certain stuff we could do, but certain stuff we know I'm not trying this. Because if things go bad, it's really gonna go bad for me.
That's a fact. Because even with Elijah, this was a couple years ago, when he was at school and he was like, a boy was always hitting him. So I was like, why you don't never hit him back? He like, because I don't want to get in trouble with you. Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh nah, you would never be getting in trouble with nothing like that. And from that moment on, he always defended himself. Yeah. It's just knowing that discipline, fear, it definitely established or give them that second thought of doing something they're not supposed to be doing.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And it's funny you say that because I was just sitting here thinking the things that my kids do around me and I have to get on about, they have no problems in school. My kids have no problems in school. And I believe some of that is because of what we do at home. Now, naturally, they might get away with a little bit more at home because, this mom and dad. But when they out and they away from us, they know I'm gonna do the right thing. You know what I'm saying? And discipline is not always a physical thing.
Yep.
I think one big thing we have to do with our children is teach them there are consequences for your actions. One thing I say to my kids all the time, I'll give an example. I told them to go to bed the other night. They in there, they cutting up, they playing, they get to wrestling. Landon hits his head. He come in the room. He crying. Oh, daddy, Hollow did this. I hit my head. And every time I tell him to do something and something else happened, I say this line. You notice? I tell you this to my kids. You notice that every time you do opposite of what I told you to do, something happens. Yeah. The next day,
every time
they in the living room, they doing their thing. This time it's Hollow. She falls into the couch. She hit her head on the arm of the couch. She come and crying. I said, now, how many times did I told you to sit down and you ignored me and now you hit your face, right? You notice that every time you do opposite of what I told you to do, something happens. I'm instilling in them. Like when you do opposite of what you're supposed to do, there's consequences to that, right? Cause and effect. When they do something that they're not supposed to do and I take something away, they love their tablets. They love their video games. We got to take those things away and be serious about it. You know what I'm saying? I don't care how much you cry. I don't care how much you get mad. You're not getting this back. You know why? Because there are consequences when you don't do. The problem with a lot of these youngins is they think real life is the video game. They don't understand that there are consequences to stuff that you do that you're not supposed to do.
But that almost speaks more to actually you and your child's mother actually parenting. Like
Facts.
a lot of these people out here who got kids or whatever, they not parenting.
Yeah.
Because they want to be seen and heard before their kids are seen and heard.
That's a fact.
That's their main focus. They want to be seen and heard on social media and all that other stuff. So they don't really care about what their kids doing. And most of the time they putting their kids into their actions so they can be seen and heard.
That's a fact. That's a fact. And it's funny
And
you
you
say that.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. It's funny you say that because I say to people all the time that don't have kids, and they be like, "Oh, we've been thinking about having kids. How is it?" I say it's hard if you're going to parent for real.
Yeah.
If you're going to drop them off with grandma all the time, then it's real easy. But if you're going to actually parent, it's hard.
Fact.
And I'm going to say this on air. All these motherfuckers that got kids and telling folk they don't got kids. Oh, kids are so... Yes, kids are beautiful. They're the greatest thing. But that shit is hard and it's expensive. Let me tell you.
Expensive as hell.
Being responsible for another life and trying to keep them away from the fray, bruh, it's hard.
And I want to say, dealing with parenting, spend time with your kids.
Yeah.
That goes a long way.
Yeah.
If you don't spend time with your kids, then they will definitely go out in the streets and look for their attention.
That's a fact.
Facts.
It's true.
Facts.
That's why I done seen every cartoon that came out.
All right, so let's move on. So have everybody seen They Clone Tyrone?
Yes.
Nope. I seen like 5 minutes of it.
Damn.
Nope.
We can talk about it. I just didn't like it. It was boring, so I cut it off.
So Waves, Littles, and some of y'all have not seen it?
I haven't
not
seen it,
seen
no.
it. I don't
I
watch
probably won't even look at it, so we can talk about it.
Damn.
My days of being a movie man
Ain't even
are-
going to talk
are
about
done.
it. All right, so the Biden administration is worried that black men won't vote for him in 2024 after turnout in 2022 midterms was much lower among younger and male black voters, according to internal party analysis.
I forgot he was the
better
president.
hope
I forgot he was the president, too. I ain't gonna lie to you.
You better hope anybody vote for his
I
ass.
forgot he was the president,
Gotta
too,
hope
so.
he's alive when it's time to vote.
Right.
Yeah, what is he talking about?
And he keep falling. He better relax.
Yeah, he better take every
Nah, I
little vote
definitely
he can
forgot.
But
man.
you know, if you don't vote for him, you're not black. So
Facts.
he did say that.
get. Please. Well, since nobody else talking, I'll talk. My sentiment, I think they need to turn the whole thing over. They too old.
Yeah, that shit
It's
is crazy.
over. I hate the fact that somebody that old is making decisions for my 6 and 8-year-old. It's
After
ridiculous.
that situation with Mitch McConnell, he was standing there at the podium and just went silent.
Like he was rebooting.
Yeah.
Listen, they out of touch. They don't, I understand that there is supposed to be some wisdom in being older, but that don't mean you gotta be 100 years old.
Yeah, that's too old.
You know what I'm saying? We need to pull it back. We need to turn that joint over. And I don't think nobody that I've seen that's going to be the candidates for running will get my vote because they all too old, and it's time for some change.
Yeah, I just think a lot of times like them Bammers is just like
Setting their ways.
shit, just going back to clones. Them niggas is clones, just niggas just sitting there being shields so the corporations can get whatever they want or whatever.
They're all bought.
Yeah.
They're all bought, and they're coasting.
They clone Joe Biden.
Nobody is. That's a fact. But nobody is actually doing the work anymore. I
Yeah.
think they sit in them seats because they make millions of dollars sitting in them
And they
seats.
can.
They're bought. Lobbyists have bought them all up, and there is no real care for the people. And I think that's on every level.
I don't disagree with what was said. I also think that in that comment, the Democratic Party is trying to set up black men to be the scapegoats for when they lose the next election. Historically, the Democratic Party has carried the black vote for the last 30 years. For the last 30 years, the black vote always goes to the Democratic Party. In order to become president, Joe Biden needs to carry the vote amongst college-educated white women, and he needs to get a certain percentage of college-educated white men in Republican states. And he knows he's not going to get it. So he's setting up black men to be the scapegoats for when he loses, he's going to look at black men and be like, well, if y'all would have showed up, Trump wouldn't be president.
Right.
That's not going to work, CDJ.
I'm definitely going to get that black women vote.
I'm not a fan of what they presenting on the Republican side either.
True.
That's the thing. So my beef is, you told me Bernie Sanders was too old, but this dude is kicking caskets down the street. You know what I'm saying? And then on the other side, y'all told me Trump was the savior. We see how that went. Now y'all gonna put a dude up here, DeSantis, who sound like he worse than what Trump was. I'm not impressed by either side. And when it, like I said, I don't give a damn Democrat, Republican, none of that. I think as a community or as Americans, let me say that, we need to start focusing on local and the officials that run the places that we live in. Because them folk downtown in the House and the Senate and all that, they are washed. They are washed and a waste of time.
And that's definitely where the moves being made at. In that local Congress and the Senate and the House and stuff like that. That's where the moves really being made.
Because we sitting here right now talking about Biden, but I'm willing to bet nobody in this room can tell me who are the officials for Maryland, D.C., and Virginia.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true.
And while we talking about Biden,
Google it. It's like that.
And
Trayvon White.
I hope you're listening.
I do know Trayvon White.
The world. Voting is supposed to be a reciprocal relationship.
Facts.
Meaning, if I vote for you, you're supposed to do something for me.
Exactly.
Joe Biden's administration has not laid out one policy. Since you want the black male vote, what you gonna do for black men?
Exactly.
If you ask him what he's gonna do for black men, he's gonna say nothing because he ain't presented
post
nothing.
you on social on Instagram.
You not doing nothing about these racist police. You not doing nothing about the school to prison pipeline. You not doing nothing about systematic white supremacy. Only thing the Democrats say is, well, we not as bad as Trump.
Yeah.
When they want votes from other communities, when they want votes from the LGBTQ community, they present a policy. Yep. When they want vote from the Asian American community, they present a policy. When they want vote from the Jewish community, they present a policy. When they want vote from women, they present a policy. But they just say, black men, y'all just supposed to show up and vote for us just because.
Right.
They don't want to give you nothing.
And speaking of Biden, President Joe Biden to establish national monument in honor of Emmett Till and Mamie Till Mobley in Illinois and Mississippi. How y'all feel about that? He doing something for us, Scott.
Look,
right around election time.
Symbolic gestures don't mean anything.
And I personally think Trump just want more followers on Twitter.
I still believe he didn't think he was going to win the presidency. He did it for clout, and he was going to try to launch a network and make him more famous than he was. Yep. I think he was really shocked that he won.
But I feel like, you know what I'm saying, all the stuff that they doing right now, like bringing up all the indictments and stuff on Trump, it ain't no coincidence that it's happening around the time that it's happening, around the time that he's trying to get his campaign going and all that other stuff. Because I saw on CNN actually that they showed that his indictments are happening around the same time as his campaign rallies and stuff like that.
Oh, absolutely.
So they trying to keep him away from doing that stuff.
The first Republican presidential debate is on the 23rd. It's in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But what Kane say about Ghost? Everything they said he did, I think he did. You know what I'm saying? But again, two things could be right. I absolutely agree with that, but I also absolutely think he's guilty as hell. But I think all of them is
exactly.
guilty.
I was just about to say that. I feel like Trump is guilty as well as Biden is guilty.
All
the
of them
shit
is guilty.
with his son Hunter Biden and all the collusion that they got going on with his business and shit like that. All them niggas doing shit.
All this is a political show.
Yeah.
If they was going to do something to Donald Trump, they would have been did it by now.
Yep.
They not going to wait 3 years and then do something to him. They would have did it the minute that shit happened.
They're all evil.
And the thing about the black community, we've been known that both sides is full of shit, you know. But unfortunately, every 4 years, y'all forced to pick the lesser two evils.
I don't know, John. I think the majority of our people don't know that they
know.
full of shit.
No, they know.
And John, that's saying the lesser of two evils, but what people fail to realize, the lesser of two evils, you're still picking evil.
Exactly.
Right.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
It's like pitting between Satan and the devil.
But that's what I'm saying. If you at the end of the day, when we talk about just voting, right? Basically, you wouldn't be voting. So if because like I said, I'm anti-Biden, I'm anti all of them.
Yeah.
So let's say all of us say we anti all of them, we not voting. Then what?
Niggas gonna shame you. Niggas in the community gonna shame you.
No, but I'm saying putting the emphasis on not voting at the end of the day, it still don't make no difference.
True.
It's still, so that's why I'm saying I think as Americans, I'm gonna keep saying that because I don't even think this is a black thing when it comes to politics. I think Americans in general, we need to start focusing and putting pressure on the people closest to us. I never forget my kid's mother said something to me, and I was like, damn, that's so true. The District of Columbia, all the shit that the District of Columbia deals with, is mostly ran by black.
Mm-hmm.
Why we need to put more pressure on the local officials. We spend so much time worrying about what they doing at the top, and at the top don't give a damn about what we doing at the bottom. But the people that's down here that's responsible for us at the bottom, we need to put that pressure on them like we put on Biden and Trump and all these others. And I think that's the mistake we make. That shit downtown, House, Senate, White House, that shit is smoke and mirrors. That shit is all smoke and mirrors. But I tell you what, I want the schools in my community to be better. So we need to be putting pressure on the motherfucker that runs the schools in my community. And if we did that all across America in every pocket of America, I think that's where we'll start seeing change.
Yeah, I kind of feel like, you know what I'm saying, like a lot of the like local shit, they get, you know what I'm saying, a pass because we not really doing nothing. And they get their little perks and all that other stuff like that.
They steal all the money.
Yeah.
They get all this funding from the circus, right? The government is the circus. But the government do shell out money to all these states and cities and all they get, and then what they do, they steal the money.
Right.
But because we so worried about what Biden and Hunter Biden and Trump is doing, that they running amok right up under our noses.
Just speaking of the DMV right now, the main focus right now that I've only been hearing about the DMV is the fucking Redskins or the Commanders, where their stadium is going to be. Yeah. Is it going to be in Maryland, Virginia, or D.C.? Ain't hearing about, like, D.C. right now, they over 150 murders. We only in August. They in 150 murders, but they worrying about the fucking Commander Stadium.
Cop thefts is through the roof. Robberies is through the roof.
Crazy.
Hundreds of percent.
Break-ins is through the roof, and we worrying about Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden don't got shit to do with the schools in Charles County.
Why do we care about the son of the president?
That's the other thing. I mean, we should care if he's involved with shit in other countries. But what I'm saying is, though, at what point do we come to the realization like that shit is beyond us at this point?
Right. Yeah.
What can we do about that?
You know what I'm saying? Unless they talking about getting rid of income taxes, free health care, and free child care, and free tuition. Other than that, don't none of that shit got nothing to do with us. Yeah, they sending all that money to Ukraine, but guess what? They sent money to the state of Maryland for them to do shit in the state of Maryland. Nigga, where that money at? I ain't got nothing to do with the Ukraine money. Nigga, what are you doing with the money that's supposed to be here for me?
All right, speaking of the Biden administration, United States Vice President Kamala Harris says most Americans are $400 expense away from bankruptcy. How y'all feel about that?
What I'm saying?
That means most of the world is living check to check. No?
$400 expense away from bankruptcy.
Unexpected bill will fuck you up right now.
How can America be the richest nation in the world when you just $400 away from financial ruin?
Yep.
Something don't make sense.
I'm about 350 away.
They need to raise up that pay. You can't keep raising up everything and then keeping the pay the same.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? That's where it all starts. You got people having to work 2-3 jobs just to pay rent.
Where would you like the pay to be at, Waves?
And you gotta at least make like 80.
You talking minimum wage?
Minimum wage, yeah.
Should be what?
I think to live to be set at where we're living at now, you have to be making at least $80K for minimum wage.
Well, let me tell you right now, part of my job is every year we have to do budgets for to justify giving the officers raises each year, and part of what I have to do is I have to literally find out the cost of living, from groceries to rent to what you need to make as far as how many dependents you have. All this shit, I got to do all this research and send all this shit in reports to justify budgets. So let me tell you, to live in Northern Virginia, right? Because that's what I have to focus on, because that's where my sites are. To live in Northern Virginia and no kids, most people are not making the money that they say you need to make to live comfortable. And so I say that to say every dependent you add, so every child that you have, it's way out of range of what's supposed to be comfortable. Mm-hmm. And when you think of a statistic that the average black man in America, on average, it's not everybody, on average, it's an average. It means most black men make around $40,000 to $45,000 a year. Bruh, that's scary.
Yeah.
That's scary.
A big part of it is, in this country, everything is dramatically overpriced.
Yep. And going back to government officials who have the power to stop that shit, right? But the reason why they don't do it is because they in cahoots, because I'm going to cut you a check to not stop what we're doing.
Yeah.
Think about taxes. And this hits home with me because I cannot stand income taxes, because the more money I make, the more they take. But here's my thing with income taxes. You tax me when I get paid, and you tax me when I buy something. Mm-hmm. How many times you gonna tax this same little bit of money that I'm getting? And once again, this is what frustrates me about Americans, right? We spend so much energy on fucking Hunter Biden. Nigga, let's talk about these income taxes.
Well, it's designed like that because if the masses of people, regardless of race, color, or sexual orientation or pronoun, got together and started focusing on income taxes and raising the minimum wage to $80,000, then the government would have a problem that it wouldn't be able to solve. So instead of that, they want you to pay attention to Hunter Biden, Donald Trump getting arrested, what Lizzo's doing,
Suki Hana,
what the city girls done said, what Dr. Umar done did.
Right.
Pay attention to all these things instead.
Yeah, especially like even with that submarine jank. That jank took a lot of attention away from a lot of stuff that was going on.
Looking for the
Titanic. Even before the submarine. This is how powerful the programming of media, any type of media, social media, the television, the music, the movies, whatever. The power of the programming is so bad. Think about this. You had people in Central America who don't have health care upset that folk was talking about giving out free health care. Think about that. I said, how these niggas is mad? They literally on camera, no teeth in their mouth. You can tell by their skin that they not in the best health. I don't think healthcare should be. Nigga, you don't have healthcare. Right? They will fight against they're so programmed, they will fight against their own selves. Mm-hmm. It's unbelievable, bruh. It's unbelievable.
All right, well, I'm going to leave off with this last clip for the Blackety Black Woke segment, and we're going to move on to some other stuff. All right, here we go.
Self-love is destroying the black community. Just look at the results. Everyone screaming self-love, yet we are the most unmarried group of people. We have the most single-parent homes versus in the 60s, we had a very high marriage rate, and they wasn't screaming self-love. Their focus of love was the black family, because love isn't selfish. Love is to be experienced with other people. Stop confusing self-love with self-esteem. Yes, you should have high self-esteem, but love is to be shared.
Thoughts?
Love is to be shared.
Just one thing he said about back in the 60s. Just because you were married don't mean you was happy. Don't mean it was a healthy home.
Facts.
Marriage just means two people that was together and they probably depended on each other back in the 60s.
The big difference in the 60s versus now is women in a lot of situations, in most situations, they had to be with the man because women were the home, took care of home, and men went out and worked. If they had a dynamic like they have now, where women just make just as much or more than men, I believe that you would have seen a lot of women step away and divorce and do whatever like they do now, because cheating ain't just start in 2023. You know, we praise. Don't get me wrong. We praise grandma for being strong and sticking there and holding on. But let's be honest, a big part of that was grandma really ain't had nowhere else to go. If she left her man, she hadn't worked in 15, 20 years. You know what I'm saying? She got kids to raise. She don't have no money. Where was she going to go? Going back to design. Somebody that do the planning to break up a community saw that and said, you know what? Give them the same opportunities. I'm not saying it's wrong for getting the opportunities. What I'm saying, though, is that we keep going back to the 60s and talking about marriage back then. I should have gave my disclaimer. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because my thing on marriage is that if we operated, I want to say this the right way because I don't want to get crucified. If in the 60s, right, it was the same construct as we have now, I think we would have seen the same numbers of divorces and separation. I think what marriage has been pushed on us to be is not really what marriage is about. One thing in particular, without going deep into it, when people say, I'm not happy, I don't think marriage is about your happiness.
True.
Marriage is two people coming together. It's almost like a business deal. Yes, it should be love there. Yes, should be. But your marriage is not supposed to make you happy. You're supposed to be happy already.
Yeah.
You gotta figure out what makes you happy. He gotta figure out what makes him happy, and then y'all happy. Your marriage has nothing to do with happiness.
Right.
I hope that makes sense.
And I definitely, and that's where it comes down to. Multiple things can be true at once. I believe what you're saying is true, and I also believe in this video what he's saying about self-love is destroying the community, because I feel like a lot of people get caught up into these key terms and these words and these phrases and all this social media babble and stuff, but they don't really understand what it actually means.
Facts.
I don't feel like a lot of people actually understands what self-love means. I think a lot of people, if they actually sit down and understand, for one, a lot of us don't even know how to love a person really means, because we don't already know how to love ourselves.
Yep.
So if you don't already know how to love yourselves, so then you sitting out here navigating, talk about something, I'm doing this self-love and all this stuff. Perfect example with this shit. This shit it pisses me off with this soft girl era.
What is
like
that?
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, I don't
if you hear a lot of these women on social media talk about, I'm living in my soft girl era and all this other stuff. Basically, they saying that they actually, well, what they believe that they're saying is that they're actually living in their femininity.
Okay.
But they aren't living in their femininity. They just using that term to actually be like, I'm being selfish in the moment, or I'm using it. Yeah, I'm doing me. I'm using this for aesthetic purposes. I'm using this to show off. Oh, I'm going to get a massage, or you know what I'm saying. I'm taking more care into my external appearance and stuff like that. But they not really working on anything when it comes to whatever's going on with them or whatever. So it's like people get all caught up into these terms that's being thrown around on social media, but they don't really understand what it really means to actually be it or live it.
That's a fact.
So like, yeah, this self-love thing is effing up the community, but it's a whole bunch of stuff that's effing up the community. But definitely the self-love part, just focusing on that. Like, people don't really know how to love themselves. Like this is something that you actually have to be taught. This is things that you have to be taught to understand, like how to navigate through. And it's not going to be a situation where it's going to be perfect, but you have to have an understanding of it. So when you getting in certain scenarios or experiences or spaces or whatever, then you know how to move through it, or you're self-aware in the moment. Oh, damn, well, you know what I'm saying, I messed up right here. This is what I need to correct next time I get in this situation. But people just looking at it like, oh, I'm living this self-love moment, or I'm living this soft girl era, or you know what I'm saying, or I'm doing me and all this other stuff, and they don't really know what it means. Like, it's just people just following behind something that they seen on social media, and they just running with it.
Just want to be a part of the topic.
So
exactly.
I got a question. Is love a standard thing, or is it different for everybody?
It's different for everybody.
Okay.
That's how I feel, because you know what I'm saying, we all, even though it's a lot of people, like I may have had similar experiences as littles or whatever, but we see it differently.
Facts.
Because of how we've grown up or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Everybody may have had similar experiences, but we all see it differently.
Yeah, that vision gonna be different.
Yeah.
Because the reason why I asked that, because I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, okay, if I figure out a way to, what I view as love or being loving, right, and somebody that I'm dealing with, they have their view or feeling on what is love or being loving. Is it a matter of we have to figure out how those two things coincide with each other?
Yep. And that's why I always be saying, like, people get so caught up into the black and white of the situation. Like, the gray area is much more larger than just the black and white. People always worrying about the black and white, the right and wrong, or all this other stuff. Like, the middle portion of it is always where everything lies, like the facts, the truth, or whatever you want to call it. Like, that's where you have to come to some sort of agreement or understanding in the middle. It's not your point of view and this other person's point of view. No, that ain't gonna work. It is not gonna work, because you get so caught up into the selfishness or the ego part of it that
people don't know how to work as a team. They don't understand teamwork, right?
Yeah.
And so I think when you talk about marriage or any relationship, I think we get so caught up in the parts. We so worried about the parts that we want to make us feel good,
right?
That we don't spend enough time on the teamwork aspect of it, right? So you'll have a woman. I know in my experience, I noticed that women, in a lot of situations, don't get along with other women. And I always wonder, like, if you can't get along with your friends, you can't get along with your coworkers, you can't get along with your mama, why should I think you could get along with me?
She has a reputation.
You get what I'm saying? Yeah. Or vice versa. If this nigga, every time he got a problem with somebody, why do you think there's some way, somehow, he's going to have, harmony with you? I think we don't have, a lot of us don't know how to work well with others.
Yeah.
And forget the love, forget the happiness, forget the sex. Do you work well with others? Right? So going back to the selfishness, right? If you're going to be with somebody in a relationship or in a marriage, there has to be some compromise, some unselfishness. And if you can't operate, I've had this conversation in my personal life with people I've dealt with. I'm like, if everything got to be your way, that lets me know that this ain't gonna work, because everything can't be your way. You're not willing to work as a team. If you're gonna be Kobe Bryant and when I pass you the ball, you don't never pass it back, we're not gonna win a lot of championships.
I always take the page I always pay attention to people in there when they talk about their work experiences. If you always got the same shit going on in your work,
no matter what
life,
job you go to,
yes, then that says a lot, bruh. That says a lot, because it's like when you going from job to job, not jumping from job, but when you having different type of jobs and you going through the same thing over and over again with
always
different
end
people
up in this same
situation.
And, and they never think it's them.
It's never them.
Accountability runs.
It's never them. It's never them.
Antonio, I just want to say I'm disappointed in you because
what happened?
We started off with a Tupac song, and John got his Jay-Z reference in. You did not crowbar Lil Wayne nowhere in this episode. And we just talked about a segment called How to Love. That was your end right there, brother. You supposed to come in with the Wayne verse and all that.
He ain't no fan for real.
All right, we're going to start closing the show out, and we ending with the Blackety Black Woke segment. So we about to get into some.
That wasn't it?
We about to finish it off. So I got a couple of clips. So here we go.
Hi, guys. A man's fascination with sex isn't really that hard to understand, but it could do wonders for the relationship of a woman who can understand and leverage it correctly. Now, I want to be very clear here because I'm not talking about men who are just out here having random sex. I'm talking about people who are actually committed to each other, whatever that might look like for them. Men and women treat sex very differently. And the reason behind that lies in the backdrop of our biology and evolutionary psychology. Women want sex, but men need sex. And this is the disconnect in physical desire that has to be understood and accommodated for in any kind of healthy relationship. If you're a woman, understand that you have an innate built-in resistance to have sex very frequently because natural selection has almost conditioned your mind to equate sex with pregnancy and the biological and social complications that arise from it. This is known as biological signaling and biomarkers. This is the reason why a lot of women view sex as a chore, but men view it as fun. Sex releases dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and norepinephrine in the brain, which are our feel-good hormones. This helps create that emotional bond that men find so hard to develop prior to that physical connection. Sex for a man is one way that he feels validated and loved because during sex, you're relinquishing your power to him. In that moment, you're submissive and he's dominant. A man sees your willingness to share your body with him as proof of the love and trust that you have for him. But this seems too taboo to women that feel that emotions are primary and their physical expression of love through sex is secondary. The biggest mistake you can make is shaming your man for wanting to have sex, or even worse, using it to manipulate him. Men are driven by the fundamental biological desire to reproduce, and they derive a large part of their status, success, and feelings of being loved from the fact that you're willing and even more so enthusiastic about sleeping with them. This is one of the reasons why the barometers of success for a man is how many women he can surround himself with. Your emotion and love ties you to him, and his sexuality ties him to you. Sex for you comes second, just as an emotional connection for him comes second. When you allow this reciprocal energy to diminish from your side, his sexual desires can make him chase and lust after other women, even if there's absolutely no emotional connection attached to it. Studies have shown time and time again that men deprived of their sexual needs are more prone to cheat, but for them it rarely goes beyond the physical act if they still have that emotional bond with you. This is why a man who is cheating on you can still cry and beg you not to leave him, because after the heat of the moment has passed, he realizes that you are still the woman that he truly loves. Yes, men and women have different sexual appetites, but just because something is different does not mean that it can't work. This is where compromise comes into play. The sexual dynamics between men and women is the symbiotic relationship that has to be understood and maintained for any kind of successful relationship. So until the next video, I'll see you guys later. Bye.
And that's why I've always said, like, with us men, naturally we're visual beings first. Like when we see a woman, we, you know what I'm saying, we focus on the physical, you know what I'm saying, what we're presented with physically. And because we've already been programmed not to be emotionally vulnerable with women, with us already having that visual aspect. So when we actually having sex with a woman, that's how we connect with them emotionally. You know what I'm saying? So like when I first heard this video, I was like, damn, she broke that joint down perfectly. She made me even see it even more emotionally from a male point of view or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So it had me thinking like, damn, yeah. So that makes sense why, you know what I'm saying, when I was coming up and, you know what I'm saying, I was having my first girlfriends and stuff like that, I wanted to just jump, you know what I'm saying, have sex all the time or whatever, because that's the only way that I knew how to express my emotions.
Right. I was going to say, because older me is much different from younger me. So younger me was like that. I probably was humping like a rabbit. But older me, just sex don't do it for me anymore. Yeah. Like, I need to have some type of connection. And it's funny because guys that are still rabbit-like, I tend to call them late bloomers. Yeah. I feel like if you still rabbit-like, I'm pretty much betting that in your younger years you didn't get it like you getting it now. You know what I'm saying?
Or you suppressing something.
Because in my younger years, I was definitely like a rabbit. But now I'm like, Charlie, if you don't stimulate me mentally, if the you know, I gotta be stimulated just by your presence. Right. Your like these cliche terms, your vibe and energy, right? Yeah. If that's not there, I'm past the just having sex because your butt is fat. Yeah. I look at your fat butt, but that don't mean I want to hit it. You know what I'm saying?
And even when you having sex or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is just me. I'm not going to speak for nobody. I want to talk to you. I want to, you know what I'm saying, kiss you. I want to look into your eyes. You know what I'm saying? This is I want to give you, like, the all of me in this moment or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But that's just me.
You trying to make love.
I'm with you. And I think it's just a part of growing. As we grow overall, I think we grow in the sexual aspect too. You know, some of the things that would make me go crazy don't make me go crazy like that no more. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so, but I think it's necessary, and I think it's important for discipline. You know what I mean?
True.
Because if you out here got to hump everything moving, you going, I pray for you. Yeah, that's too much. Yeah.
Son.
Shit, I'm sorry, bro.
You been quiet.
Shit, I'm sorry, bro. I'm over there. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That's all right. I'm the only one talking.
Moving on. My mind went blank, bro. It's all my mind went blank.
It's all good.
To summarize the clip, lady, she said, let your man hit it more often and your relationship would be better for it.
True. I mean,
so let me so I want to ask the room, do y'all feel like that though? Do y'all feel like, okay, do you feel like you need sex to feel wanted by your woman?
It's not even a thing of feeling. I don't need the sex to feel wanted, but I want to feel like you want me.
Yeah.
You know
show that affection. Okay. Yeah. I mean, this goes back to the very first clip from the intro of the thing where the guy was saying
full circle.
Yeah, exactly. You know, he shouldn't have to ask for affection.
The dog
exactly. Like if he gets those things, like we're easy to please.
Right.
We don't need a lot. You know what I'm saying? Show us that, you know what I'm saying, that we that one that you want.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like this, bro. I got it back now. I feel like this. Yo, I ain't gonna lie to you. Sex motivates me. In our aspect of our relationship, if that makes any sense. Like, all right, we having consistent sex. Now I want to do things for you to make you feel. Now I'm working on that emotional part that you like.
Makes sense.
Because it's easier to work on what I want. Once we get that, now it's like, all right, because look, think about this, right?
So you're saying that physical is necessary?
Yeah. Think about this. When you meet a girl, right, for the first time, right? You doing everything to get that. And sometimes it's like, all right, once you get it, some dudes do just be like, it's over. But when you married or with someone, it's like that thing motivates you to do the things that you would have done if you first met her, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So her encouraging words ain't enough.
I'm with that too, though. I'm with encouraging words too.
No, but I think it all comes down to, like, even just taking the sex out of it or whatever, just the intimacy part of it. Like, you want it, like, men want to feel like we want it just as well. We want the compliments and all that.
I want you to grab on my butt.
The reason why I'm saying it,
I want you to do that. I'm sorry.
The reason why I want that. The reason why I'm saying it though is because I think as men, this is a show of all men, and as men, and we have these conversations. I think I know women get intrigued by these conversations, but then they want us to go deeper. So, like, could you give some examples of what some of those things might be?
Wait, what do you mean? What I was saying?
Whatever. I don't care.
Like,
Talk,
okay,
nigga.
all right. So, what I'm saying. So, look, one, I'm going to talk more. We gonna have way more conversation, more.
No, I'm
There's gonna
saying,
be
what are
dates.
some
It's like-
of the things that she could do that you talked about being motivated to do more for
Oh,
a
right.
woman?
It ain't even gotta be about sex though, bro.
No, I
I
know
like,
that. I'm
I
saying
like,
whatever.
girl. You know how you got a woman. You like to smack her ass when you see her and shit. Like,
mhm,
oh, you look cute, bro. You do the same shit to me. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Touch
you want
on
your
me.
ass smacked?
Yeah, yes. You my woman, right?
Or
Slap my ass.
a simple
Grab my-
compliment.
Yeah,
You want that
compliment. Oh,
build? You want that
It's just
build
that
up.
physical
Yeah.
You
touch.
want that build
Bro,
up.
it ain't always.
Yeah.
It ain't gotta be. It ain't gotta be really sex all the time. It's
No, I
just
feel
like
you.
we walk around. It's like, yo.
I feel
Oh,
you.
you think you cute today? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
a simple compliment.
flirting with me.
You look
Yeah.
good today. You
Talk
smell
about it.
good today.
Talk about it.
Yeah, that's an intimacy right there.
Yeah.
That's,
It's
it
the
ain't
same
always
thing.
That
gotta be
shit,
sex.
that them little small things goes a long way for a guy.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, yo, I'm gonna
Does-
keep it all the way a buck, yo.
Go ahead.
A
Keep it a
woman
buck.
telling her man,
See, Scott,
I
I got him
appreciate-
talking now.
Nah, a woman telling her man she appreciate him
Facts.
might be the biggest compliment a woman can
Facts.
ever say to a man, ever, in
But
any
that-
relationship.
That goes back to just us being black men. Like, it's different for black men. We go out into the world. We don't hear compliments and stuff like that. We
Yeah.
always on guard when we
Right.
go out in the
And
world
this
and
goes
shit like
even it plays into like social media. Like even if you sit here, you post a picture, you get all this attention. If you're not getting that attention at home, then you're gonna feed into the attention you
Facts.
getting
Yeah.
online.
Facts.
And that's where a lot of shit be fucking up at.
And
Yeah.
just to what you said, being told that you appreciate it, my nigga. I had a situation where I was told I was nigga. That y'all almost brought a tear to my eye.
Nah,
Yeah.
for real. That shit.
Cause we hear it so little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I equated to, and I've said this before, but I equated to men hollering at women, right? A woman, especially a really good looking woman, if she ride the metro, from the time she leave home from work to go to work and come back home, she's been hollered at
Exactly.
10, 15 times. So being hollered at by niggas is so nothing to them because that's a norm, right?
Yeah.
And they get so mind blown that a woman approaches a guy or comes at a guy and she's able to get her guy's attention. That's not normal for most guys.
Right.
Most guys don't get hit on. So when it happens, if you're not disciplined, if you're not getting the sex at home and getting appreciated at home, and that will draw you in because you're like, yo, I don't get attention 10, 15 times a day like a woman do. So when I'm getting it, I'm ready to eat it all up, right?
Fact.
And so what you guys are saying to the ladies that's listening and watching is that just like y'all want us to show you that we care and show you that we appreciate you, we need that too.
Facts.
Because what happens is, and I know a lot of women always say, it don't matter if I do that or not, they still gonna cheat.
Right.
But are you really doing that?
Right.
See, we can say things for social media to get likes and get somebody to comment.
If they cheat, try harder.
Yo.
Well, black men don't cheat. So. But we say stuff online to for cliche or to get people to jump on board. But are you really making that nigga feel appreciated?
Right.
Are you really trying to cater to whatever his needs is? Do you even know that nigga love language for real?
Right.
Do you know his birthday?
Do you know his birthday? You know what I'm saying? And we gotta really start being honest because I feel like a lot of women want men to give 100% and they want to be able to give 30 or 40%.
That's fact.
Because they always on defense mode and shit like that.
Yeah.
Or they listening to them good girlfriends
Or
or
they
their aunties
think
and all that other
if
shit.
they give you sex, then that should be
Yeah.
enough.
True.
Then you know what
You
they
should be
love to
thankful for
say.
that.
You know they be like, all women are submissive. It just got to be with the right guy.
That's wild. That's a wild ass statement. That's wild as fuck. That's wild.
Like, what?
That's wild.
Yeah.
A lot of it is both men and women. We just gotta really start being honest with ourselves.
Yeah.
And when you start being honest with yourselves, then we can start being honest with each other.
Slim, take me on a date. Like,
True.
Yo, like
Right,
we
damn.
all got planned
Can you
on the
pay
date.
on-
You
can you
plan
pay
the date
for
and be
the
like,
date?
hey, you get ready.
So-
Take me on the date. Like,
Can you
that's
at
the
least
shit
give
you
the
could
tip?
do. Right. Take me on the date and pay for that shit.
All right, let me play this other clip.
Someone say you got to smack his butt. Tell him he cute.
Oh, did us? You
He
think
cute
I'm
over
playing?
here.
He's in a minute. He gonna say buy him some flowers.
Eventually checks out of the
No, I don't like
relationship
flowers.
with you, sex with you will change because he is physically checked out as well. If sex becomes just sex with nothing else attached, that's a major red flag that he's
Facts.
disconnecting. If you have spent any kind of considerable amount of time together, you should be accustomed to the little things that he does that mean something to you. Maybe it's the way that his tone of voice changes when he's about to reach that moment. Maybe it's the way that he holds on to you at night. Or maybe it's the way that he kisses you and grabs you when you're close. It should be pretty well established that you and your man have found your rhythm with each other. So this makes it even easier to realize the warning signs of when those little things that mean so much to you start to diminish. Instead of him taking his time with you in the bedroom, his advances towards you will start to become rushed and mediocre because he wants to start it to finish it. It's simply about pleasure for him at that point because he's disregarded the connection. Sex for him is now just a physical release without any kind of emotions attached. Lack of eye contact is another big sign as well. If your man always wants to have sex positions that don't allow you to have eye contact, that's a major telltale sign that he's hiding an internal incapacity to appreciate and reciprocate the emotional connection that previously existed between you. Sex satisfies many different needs at several different levels for a man. Men are constantly condemned and ostracized and criticized for the very qualities that highlight their masculinity and manhood. Men go through life steadily being trained to bury their emotions because men don't cry and emotions are weak. So there's very limited safe spaces in life where a man feels that he has the emotional safety to fully express and cultivate himself. When you have sex with your man, you're giving him the opportunity to express vulnerability, self-confidence, and love. And in turn, you're giving him reassurance. Reassurance that he's accepted, heard, and seen. Yes, a man receives all of that through sex. This is why I tell women one of the very worst things you could do in life as a woman is withhold sex from your man, because you're not just withholding sex, you're severing his nonverbal communication with you. Men don't require a lot to remain content, but at the top of that list is the most essential human need, and that's the need to connect. Women by nature tend to have an overabundance of resources and opportunities to create and cultivate emotional connections. This provides them the advantage of having multiple outlets for emotional fulfillment that men are only able to achieve through their sexual experiences. So, if you question if your man is checked out of the relationship, all you really have to do is assess your sex life. And with that being said, until the next video, I'll see you guys later. Bye.
That's what I will always say, like, us as men, like, that's one of the ways that we express our emotion is through sex, and women play that shit against us. They really do. And when they do that, they don't understand that it will take us far away from them. That pretty much severs a lot of ties in the relationship.
That's true.
Once they take that sex away from us.
That's true.
It'll be different if there's like a conversation or something like that that's happening, that you saying how you feel, and you know what I'm saying, and this is why you feel that way. But when you totally just pull it away and start playing these games and stuff like that, then yeah, it's I don't know. I mean, I want to say it's just like it's over. But
yeah. I want to add a disclaimer to all of this too. And I think this is important to say to the ladies. All this stuff that we listening to and we talking about the guy that's really trying to be with you.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of women, your problem is not that, oh, he gonna cheat no matter what I do. Your problem is not, oh, he this, he that, he. The problem is that nigga ain't really into you like you think he is.
Right.
All the stuff we talking about are the guys that's really trying to be with you, that's really into you and is really trying to build with you. All this stuff applies to those niggas. First, you got to find out, is your nigga that nigga? Because a lot of y'all are just life jacket for niggas.
Yeah,
You know
because
what I'm
it's a
saying?
lot. Just like we talk about the social media stuff, and they always throwing these memes and shit out there talking about effort. I will always say this, and I will stand by this. Niggas, and I mean, I hate to say it, but it is what it is. niggas will show effort just to get some pussy. It
That's
just is
facts.
what it is.
That's fact.
It just is what it is.
That's facts.
Like effort don't mean shit.
Facts.
Like it really don't.
Facts. That's a fact.
Damn.
Nothing else?
Tell them how you really feel, bro.
I'm just saying. I'm like, because I just hate the fact that people just get on social media and they get caught up into these memes and stuff. And just like John was saying with the popularity and stuff, you get these pages that's all popular and stuff like that. And they just be following behind every word that's being posted on these pages. And just like, okay, that's how they going to live their life. Mm-hmm. And then they just causing just a ripple effect in the quote unquote community. Mm-hmm. And then, hey, how we going to repair that?
That's a fact. Yeah. Right. That's a fact.
Yeah.
All right, let me play this clip.
Harsh reality for us men. Women don't genuinely care about you up front. Answer this. When did she start respecting you? Was it at the beginning when y'all first met, the middle, or when she seen you had yourself in order? If you have a top 5 priority list, make sure them first 4 slots is you. Those first 4 priorities should be your purpose, your finances, your health, and your respect. Because at any given moment, that woman can switch up and put her feelings first. She how you playing a question game, asking yourself where you went wrong. I can tell you, them first priority slots you had when you met her, you slacked up on them. Don't ever do that. Keep them priorities right there and she'll respect you more. Just make her one of those priorities, but not the priority.
The reason why I played this clip, right, because I've been saying a lot of stuff on, social media talking about like women respecting men or whatever in their relationship or whatever. And it's a post that I came across as well. It says, young black men, if even once your girl undermines your problem-solving skills by asking others, especially other men, for their advice on the same shit she just asked you, leave her be. She's stuck in survival mode and won't be able to benefit from proper guidance anyway.
Damn.
So if she's asking other people advice on something she asked you advice on?
Other men?
Yeah.
Other men.
Okay.
Oh, other men. Okay.
Maybe she just want a different perspective, guys. So we being too hard on her?
Yeah, I don't know.
No, wow.
The reason why I played the clip and I brought up that post was because, just what I said earlier about, the fact that with men, we look at being loved from the respect aspect. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And just all the shit that we see on social media. Not saying that, it's true in real life, but just all the stuff that's being on social media talking about some, respect your man, you don't respect your man, listen to him and all this other stuff and submission and all that other stuff. So how would you really feel if, your woman actually...
I think for me, it depends on who the nigga is.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like if my woman asked me something and then she went and talked to my father about it.
Yeah, I was about to say something.
Am I going to be feeling some type of way? Like, I'll be like, yeah, talk to Big Roy because, he might have, you know what I'm saying? It depends now. If you ask me something, I gave you my respect, and then you ask this nigga over here that ain't worth a hill of beans, I probably still wouldn't feel a way about it. But I could see somebody being like, you going to take this nigga advice over mine? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I just think some of these things just depends on the guy you dealing with. Yeah. I'm not one of those guys. I'm not super sensitive like that, or I'm not so technical that you like. I said this to somebody and they couldn't believe I said it. But I was like, I'm not even looking for you to submit. That word to me, I think is an unnecessary word. Like, I don't even use the word submit to me. I like to use the word teamwork or partner.
Right. Yeah.
Because I feel like if I'm in a relationship with you and we trying to build something, we in this together.
Right.
It's submit means somebody has a seat higher than somebody else. And I don't want that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't mind being I don't want to use the word equal neither, but I want my woman to be a woman and I want to be a man and I want us to come together and have a team effort. That's it.
Yeah.
The submitting, you don't need to submit. You don't need to just what I do need you to do is respect me and be fucking peaceful.
So you basically saying it's okay for her to lead sometimes.
It's not even. I don't even look at it as a
Like,
lead.
I mean, because a teamwork. If
you just
great
have
leaders,
you just have more knowledge or wisdom in this certain area. Or
But
whatever.
again, if we're being realistic, your woman is going to be stronger in something than you are, and vice versa.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
that's
saying?
facts.
Like when we talking about what needs to happen with the car, you might want to fall back, babe. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But when I'm in the kitchen trying to cook dinner, I'm gonna be like, look, I'm the leader. Nah, babe, it's a way I can do this. You know what I'm saying? I'm just using that as a small example. But I think we get so caught up on these terms and these, definitions. Like, nigga, figure out what worked for you and who you with, my nigga. You know what I'm saying?
What about those situations where you see like a woman will ask you to do something or whatever, like, babe, take out the trash, or can you clean this or put this together, or something like that, and then 5 minutes later, you know what I'm saying, you chilling, you gonna do it when you feel like doing it. 5 minutes later, she started doing it herself.
I'm pissed.
I've gone through that so many times.
I'm pissed.
No, at first I used to get mad at that because I've gone through that so many times. But then I started taking the approach like, listen, if you can't wait for this game to finish and it's so necessary for that table, you can go and get that table started and I'm gonna come. You know what I'm saying? I stopped carrying my feelings on my. Because we got to be careful, too. Like, we can't be in our feelings all the time.
True.
You know what I'm saying? Because, and I say this to people, and I'm working with my son with this about controlling your emotions, right?
Yeah.
If everything going to get you in your feelings, you about to live a miserable life.
Yeah.
Because it's going to always be something that's going to make you feel away.
And
you know what I'm saying?
And we also can't get caught up in, like, everything isn't a competition between men and women. Right. It's like, I've seen so many clips on social media where it's like, well, if you do this and this person say this, then you got to do this because this mean this. And it's like, dude, you don't know my girl. You don't know us. You don't know. Like, she just might be confused or maybe she wants somebody else to talk to. It's like, that's fine.
And I'm going to keep it a buck.
I don't always know what I'm talking about sometimes.
I'm going to keep it a buck because I try to be as real as possible that I can possibly be, right? Sometimes she put the shit together better than I would.
No, that's true.
Because I had put shit together and still had pieces left over. And I'm like, we just going to brush them to the side.
And that don't make you a bad man. And you got to leave her and find somebody who can't put shit together.
But I think that come down.
I was just about to say, one of my big problems is I have a problem with following directions.
But I think that come down to like the earlier videos when you talk about manhood and shit like that. It's like certain women, they will look at it like, you know what I'm saying, well, since I'm able to put this table together better than he can, then I don't need him for anything else. Like they take this overall approach
That's
that
to the
If I can do it, then what I need him for?
Exactly.
Well, then get away from them damn women then. Shit, let them be by themselves.
What time we say, who are these?
That should be a title right there. Who are these niggas?
All right, I'm going to finish off with this clip and we're going to head out of here.
That's the type of woman that's going to smack someone on his butt.
Like, good job, nigga. Good job, nigga.
Take him out on that
Slip
thing.
20 in his slip 20 in his drawers. Good job.
Men are more compelled to commit to women who have these traits. Guys, tell me if I'm right or wrong, okay? All right, let's get into it, y'all. A woman who is patient. She ain't trying to force commitment. A woman who has more to offer than just sexual, meaning she's more than just pretty. A woman who has good morals. Let's go, Proverbs 31. The right timing. I believe a man has to be ready for that level of commitment. He's found within himself that he wants to be committed. You could be the greatest woman on earth, but it's just the wrong timing. He got to be attracted to you. That's number 5. A woman who is attractive. Number 6, a woman who brings peace. She is peaceful, creates peaceful environment. Ain't about the drama. Number 7, a woman who is supportive. She finds ways to help him reach his goals. She's a cheerleader. She's an asset, not a liability. Y'all knew I was gonna say that. Last but not least, she allows him to have his freedom. Still go out with the boys, still do his hobbies, still be himself.
She nailed it.
Yeah, that was like.
She nailed it.
She just named like 20 different women.
The way she said the way she said it made it seem so simple though.
But it's not. And the reason why it's not is because I hate to say this, a lot of women have been raised and taught by other angry women. And when you have that, you have what we have today.
Yeah,
that's the simplest way I could put it.
That whole
get them waves,
being patient and stop trying to force relationship. That's a big ass turn off.
big turn off. I literally just had that conversation this morning.
Not even the relationship, just forcing outcomes even when you in that relationship.
Yeah.
It's like whether it's coming from social media or their girlfriends or their insecurities, their fears or whatever, always trying to force shit.
Yeah.
And it goes back to something y'all said earlier. Women have the tendency to deal with a guy off their looks or the sex first, and then they try to mold him, or they think they're going to change him into being the dude that they want him to be, versus getting to know this nigga for who he is.
Mm-hmm. They want to build a bear.
Get to know this nigga for who he is, and then when you get to know him, find out if this nigga works for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because every nigga can't fight. Every nigga don't make $1 million a year. You know what I'm saying? Every nigga ain't a mandingo. You know, you got to find out if this dude works for what you need in your life. And if he don't, he don't. And guys, if you don't fit, be okay with that too.
But not only that, because like I think it's something that we probably haven't spoken about enough, is that the fact that it's always us being the problem in situations.
That's fact.
It's never no situation where a woman is actually being self-aware in the moment and being accountable for the role that she plays in it. It's not the thing of the man saying that he's totally right in the situation, but he just actually wants you to be able to say, okay, yeah, I'm wrong right here, or I did this, or I need to work on this and stuff like that. And it's just hard to find women that are capable of actually being able to be accountable or self-aware on their role in things.
I think it was Bill Burr. He told a joke, and in the joke he said just that. He said, when it comes to my marriage, we're always working on me.
Nah, that's facts. Nah, that's facts for real.
I'm like, bruh, like, come on, can we just can it just be a moment where I can say what, you know what I'm saying?
Never.
The things that I'm having an issue with or what I'm having a problem with in the relationship, and it just be that? No, it got to be a tit for tat situation.
Well, because you're the problem. When you turn on the TV, no, seriously, when you turn on the TV, the men are the problem. When you open the magazine, the men are the problem. When you turn on the song, the men are the problem. When you go on social media, the men are the problem. So all the women are programmed that we're not the problem. The men are the problem. Exactly. So like Bill Burr said, in my marriage, we're always working on me.
And women amongst themselves have built a community of other women that will support them and telling them that the man is the problem.
And that's why I always say on this podcast, y'all women out here, y'all gotta be careful with these women empowerment women that y'all following, because a lot of these women empowerment women that y'all following are just projecting shit onto y'all, and y'all following behind it because it's familiar to y'all, and y'all think that because it's familiar to y'all that means that it's right.
And it's a clip going around now where Charleston White got into it with a girl on that same thing. He was like, y'all listening to this woman, she don't even date men. But she telling y'all what's wrong with men, what needs what men need to be doing, and that's what's happening.
And y'all know I talk about, you know what I'm saying, I talk about a lot of mental health stuff on my podcast. And I've highlighted a lot of women therapists that do the same thing. They don't even date black men. They date women. And they are spewing this stuff out there and pointing these women in the wrong direction. And these women think because that they're therapists, they got this title and all this other stuff, that they are right. And they're following behind this shit.
They date white women too.
Yeah. It's crazy, man.
Figure out what works for you and your partner and rock with that. And the beauty, people don't see it this way, but the beauty in relationships is none of them are the same.
Right.
Yeah.
If all relationships was the same, then relationships would be boring.
Yeah.
I've been in several relationships, and there's been different things that I enjoyed about each one. You know what I'm saying? Relationships are not a standard. It's whatever works for you and that person, where y'all at the time. And my relationship might look totally, and I always say that about couples that have open relationship. When somebody come out and say they have an open relationship, everybody's all up in arms. Nigga, if open relationships don't work for you, then that's fine. Nigga, but if it work for them and they happy, same thing about marriage. I got a buddy. His son and my son was born on the same exact day. Him and his son's mother have been together 30 years, have never been married. No. I'm too many years. 25 years have never been married. Most women will be like, "Oh, ain't no way. She crazy. You can't. If we've been together 3 years, they are one of the happiest couples I ever been around in my life. Happier than married couples. And you would have married women telling her she doing it all wrong. But she is having a ball.
They like, you gotta be miserable like me.
So it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. Any last thoughts?
Nah, it was good having the panel back together.
Yeah, it was fun.
This was cool. I'll see y'all next 100.
Next 100, 200 show.
I definitely would just like to say congratulations on your 100th episode.
Yes.
That's a hell of a
Congratulations, my
Absolutely.
brother.
Appreciate it.
I think you was the first podcast.
No, it was actually Scott.
Scott was the first podcast?
Scott was first.
For real?
Yeah.
Damn.
Scott was first.
Well,
Yeah.
you was the second. You was the second.
Yeah, I was the second
because
because I remember hitting Scott up and asking him for questions to record and shit.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a blast from the past.
Yeah.
Definitely congratulations as the second solo show out of the network. I think 100 episodes is huge, man.
Yeah, no, that's lit.
Yeah, when I first thought about what I was going to do, I just kept thinking about like the TV shows from back in the 90s, Martin and stuff like that, and how they will always do shows and shit and do like when they would have their 100 episodes, they would do like reunion stuff or show like old clips and stuff. So I was like, let me try to get the fellas together or whatever, because this is where it all started, the You and You podcast.
That's facts.
That's a fact. That had 95 downloads last week. It's always weird to me that.
Hold on, what? People still download that, John? That's lit.
The podcast had 95 downloads last week.
That's lit.
Yeah.
Shit, we need to try to do that more often.
Nah, when I was thinking today, I was like, man, we should probably try to do it like at least once a month.
Yeah, I was just thinking that once a month might be cool.
Just say the word.
Yeah.
We'll find a way to mess it up. Don't worry about it.
That's a fact.
Son gonna be like, nah, I ain't recording tonight because y'all got to bring this show to my house because Keisha said. I was like, what?
That sounds like word for word.
Nah, for real. I ain't going up there though.
But we're going to sign off. I'm going to let everybody get their sign off on. Make sure y'all introduce y'all shows and y'all platforms. So we're going to start again to the left.
It's your boy Waves. You can catch me on Instagram, Waves_DC. That's with a Z and not a S. I do be featured on everybody little podcasts and stuff when they need to.
When you want to, you mean? Not when we need you to.
Yeah, when I want to, I will call and be like, yeah, I'm on my way over there. So, yeah, you can see me on everybody else's podcast if you want to.
That's a fact.
Hey, this is Scott, host of the Unprocessed Knowledge Podcast. Everybody should be following me on Instagram at unprocess_knowledge.
Your boy, son, the mother lover on You and You podcast, but on 3 Stars 2 Bars, I'm Southside Malone, but I'm from Wall Dog.
This man got more aliases.
You can find me on Instagram at Antonio She Lover, and you can follow my podcast on 3 Stars 2 Bars.
It's your boy O King Johnny, OH_KING_Johnny. The same on all social media platforms. You can find my show Separate_the_2 on Instagram and Separate the 2 podcasts on all your platforms. You can find us on Spotify, Google Play, Amazon Music, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, just about everywhere you listening to podcasts. It's a Separate the 2 podcast. Shout out to my co-host G-Dep.
G-Dep.
Shout out to
Last but not least, this is your main man Littles. You can catch me on the Littles Talking Shit podcast, a.k.a. Everything But the News podcast, coming real soon, hosted by me, myself, and I. Catch me on all social media platforms at Littles1126, size 13, people.
What? And last but not least, it's your boy Rip. Taste to Consider podcast. I will make sure that I have each and every one of the pages, platforms, podcasts down on the post on Instagram, Twitter, as well as YouTube. Shout out to all the fellas that's here right now. I appreciate it. Definitely 100 episodes. I'll talk to you next week. Make sure you download, like, share, subscribe on all the platforms as well as mine. And we out.
Make sure y'all do that.
And tell a friend.
Tell a friend.
Tell a friend.